Walking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes beyond the Walking Dead universe. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by Osmomom09, Rachel Burt, who's here after a long hiatus, Charity, aka Blasey Gardner, and Bridget, ko-fi.com/Punky Brewster. That's PUNKYBRUISETER. And hello, everybody. We're here live to talk to you about the 10th episode of Fear the Walking Dead's 8th and final season, titled Keeping Her Alive. Well, we do have one bit of housekeeping we have to say at the top of the show before I say hi to all of you officially, and that's we have decided on a date and time for our Rockin' Round Robin benefit for Robin Overton, aka the Black and White Guy on Instagram. The date is December 10th. The time is 2 p.m. Eastern U.S. time.
I can't do that time.
Well, oh man, so
Oof.
We're going to be having some really cool prizes already. More to come, but we will be posting some stuff on social media, and we're going to need your help. So on top of, and this is very important, these two things right now, we did this before our Jackbox charity live stream. We asked you this before our TWDU trivia charity battle, and I mostly named it that because it would trip me up. We need you to do two things. One is if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe and then click that little bell and enable all notifications. And then tell others to subscribe whenever you can, as soon as you can, because we need you to help spread the word for this benefit that we're throwing when it comes the time. We need to actually get as many people on this stream as possible to raise as much money as possible, and also to get more people with deeper pockets for some of these amazing prizes. And the rest of you who may not even be able to put any money down on the prizes during these rounds, you're going to be enjoying some programming in between the auctions, which Charity is very carefully thought through. We did speak about it a little bit last week, but we have more of a grapple on what we're going to do. And especially since the strike is now indefinitely suspended, we can do a lot more.
We're going to have a panel of 3 people. I think we're going to be switching panel members in and out. We have some other people that want to join. We're hopefully going to get a couple of special people to be on the panel. And one of the things you will be able to bid on is the chance to play a game with that person on the panel.
With our special people.
It could be a cast member. It could be a crew member. It could be
Right.
any number of special people.
It's Bridget.
That's what we're planning on.
Bridget is the big draw.
I mean,
Bridget is the big
we're all
draw.
pretty special.
Surprise. Not what you wanted? So sorry.
We're talking to people and we're finalizing things, so we can't really say anything. But the chance to join the person in the game will be included in the prize pack. That is not a separate bid. So when you bid on the prize pack, that's included in it. You'll play in the very next game on screen with the panel and whoever we have on it. The questions are not going to be hard. This is not trivia. It's mostly going to be holiday themed. It's about being funny and cute and having a good time. It's not about winners or losers or anything like that. It's all just to have a good time and raise some money for Rob. And we're putting together the best show we can put together for you guys. I drew for Secret Santa the other night, Sunday night after Fear, and everybody has their assignments. And in between games,
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Nobody trade with her.
No, she's not allowed to trade. She's not allowed to trade.
She's allowed to, but nobody's letting her. That's the thing.
In between games, while we're setting up, getting the other host in or whatever, we'll be playing our Secret Santa videos. If you want to get in on Secret Santa, I still have a couple of names in my cup I can draw. I mean, we have plenty, but if you want to join in, please, we welcome you. We want you to join in and have fun with us.
Tell them where to DM you.
DM me at Blasey Gardner on Instagram.
That's right.
And visit her YouTube page to watch the videos in the past.
Right. If you go
right.
to
So you know
my
what we're
YouTube,
doing.
the very last video I have is actually our Secret Santa from 2 years ago. So
And
it's right there when you go to the page.
We put it in the blog in order to promote the Secret Santa for
So
this
it's
year.
even easier to find.
Right.
That's right.
That year we did like a variety show kind of thing, but this year, since we're mixing it up with the benefit for Robin, we're not really doing all the
Production.
production stuff. But we had a lot of fun. Like we had a couple of the cast members were in it. We had some songs in it. Some people wrote songs about Fear, and we put that in there.
I
It was
did.
a lot of fun. Yeah,
Oh, Bailey did too. Yeah.
we put Charlotte's Fear song in there. Yeah.
Well, she was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of this to say is that all of this stuff
so
will be
good.
playing at the benefit. So we're going to have panelists for a sort of game show. We're going to have Secret Santa videos embedded throughout the program, and also prize packs that you can win throughout the night. These prize packs are hopefully going to be the thing that raises the money for Robin Overton. So open your hearts, open your wallets. And if you can't do either, you mean people who can't open your hearts, well, share out of spite. share whatever we have coming out. And to do that, again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, enable all notifications, and enable social media notifications, at least for the next month, because December 10th, 2 p.m., that's when it's happening. It's the next month. Wherever you prefer to receive any social media notifications, whether it's X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, Threads, we're going to be promoting this everywhere. Blue Sky, which we're on also.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. So wherever you prefer, enable notifications there because we're going to need your help. We can't give Robin the help that he needs without your help too. It's not monetary, just sharing. Liking even helps with visibility on Twitter, on Instagram especially. Anything you could do on that front is even more important to reach the people who have the pockets that can be reached, especially during this time of year where some people are overextending themselves for Christmas gifts or going broke trying. So we want to reach those people who can really, really help with Robin's medical bills. Again, well, we should tell them what it's about. Robin Overton, the black and white guy, you may know him as fan artist for not only The Walking Dead, but Sons of Anarchy, all these other shows.
Yellowstone,
exactly.
A lot of Marvel
man.
stuff.
His 1923 drawing, whoa, that was awesome.
Right.
Go follow him on Instagram too.
It's the BLK.
It's
and
the
white guy.
BLK and white guy on Instagram.
They discovered that he had stomach cancer. He got a portion of it removed recently. He's been on chemotherapy. The thing that we need your help on is in terms of financial assistance as it pertains to his medical bills. It's just too much for him. Insurance can only offset so much. And he's been such a great guy with all of us when it comes to things personally, but also when it comes to helping donate some of the prints that he has to some of our charities as well. And he's just the best person to know. You should be following him already. And if you're not, he's on Facebook too, if you prefer that. Instagram primarily, I think, but those two places are the best. And you can follow his journey too. And you can keep in touch with him.
He just posted, I think it was yesterday, that he's going to have to go back in chemo again.
Right, because he got refused immunotherapy
right.
by his doctor.
And also, if you have the pleasure or the chance to meet him at any of the conventions, Robin gives the best hugs.
Oh, and he's so tall, and I'm so small, so it's even better. It's true. I'm a very lucky man when it comes to hugs. I'm going to say that much. Anyway.
I got sent a birthday card by our friend Kendall.
Oh, which you mentioned a while ago, yeah.
If you want to go follow her, she's a very talented artist. On Instagram, her username is fanart_in_progress. And she sent me this sweet little birthday card with Daniel in it because she remembered that I said Daniel was my favorite character during our top 5 thing that we did months and months ago. So super cute. There's a little sketch that she sent me. So I'm just very appreciative and she's very talented and you should go follow her. No, it's not my birthday today, Jermaine. It was my birthday in September. But sometimes things happen, and we forget and then stuff gets sent later and that's okay.
Carranza said he liked my cap, and I wanted to mention that the cap was one of the things that I won from Takira's auction that we had a few Sundays ago, and I'm wearing it now. And so I think it's the Commonwealth one. It's pretty cool for now.
I own it.
Until it gets annoying.
I also have that hat.
I too have that hat, young people.
Fellow young people.
Fellow young people. All right, so let's start with first impressions. It's going to be brutal.
Oh, me? Do I go now?
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to...
Stop. Oh, for once she's waiting for me to stop talking. Well, that's nice when I didn't want it. I never get what I want.
Wah, wah.
Got Madison.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was my first impression.
I thought she was... Ceilings ignored yet again. All right, well,
got him.
No, be a little bit more specific. You haven't been here for a while. Give the people what they genuinely want. They genuinely missed you all these weeks.
Be more specific. Womp womp.
No, you don't have to be more specific. But just
Womp womp womp.
Feelings can sometimes be sound effects.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, so I had a lot of catching up to do. I am having a hard time just coming up with like a first impression because I so badly just want to like get my hands in there and get all bloody and just tear it apart. I was not happy, mostly because Madison is still alive. I'm very upset that we were promised an explanation as to why she is back,
Alive?
why she is here, how she got out of the diamond. We were told that they would tell us how she survived all that. And it hasn't happened yet. And we're running out of time. And at this point, how she got out, no matter what they say, isn't going to have any bearing on the story whatsoever. At this point, with 2 episodes left, however she got out, I don't know. Maybe they'll tie it all together, but I'm not holding my breath. This episode in particular,
which is the one we're talking about.
Yeah. Sorry. I have to like separate it because I watched Sanctuary and this one back to back. And so some of my thoughts may be getting crossed over. I enjoyed
That's
Sanctuary. I thought it was a really nice trip down memory lane.
Wasn't that nice?
Sherry and Dwight, as far as their relationship goes, sometimes I just want to like shake them and like knock their heads together. But, you know, I guess it's real. This episode, I have so many thoughts. It wasn't, no. There were too many things.
Nothing out of it.
There were too many things that didn't make sense.
You should have let me go first.
We should have moved on.
I know, right? I guess that's it. It just doesn't make sense. I guess that's my.
I think it's partially why
reaction.
we're here too.
Didn't make sense.
I think we often find that when we get together, we parse it out and we make a little bit more sense by the end of it.
Dave, I don't think there is.
You've seen my notes. We can.
No one's going to make sense of this.
I feel like I'm going to be ganged
up on.
No,
not
that word.
Bangs,
not that hard
like
word. No.
You are going to get ganged up on is what you wanted
by
to
a
say.
bunch of gangs by everybody today.
I'm out. Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Bridget, what's your first impression?
I wore glasses for a reason tonight, and it's so I could do this. Not really. Not really. I did like that though. I'm sorry. I'm wearing glasses because my migraines have been out of this world this week. Okay. So what did I think about this episode?
She's stalling.
I'm going to try to be as gentle as possible. What?
She had to get it out.
What?
More sound effects from the peanut gallery.
See? It's hard to put into words, isn't it?
Because here's the thing. I don't want to say what I think about. I don't want to say what I think
actually,
about.
I'm actually not regretting this.
Because
this is gold.
It's weird. It was weird.
All right, Sharon D, what's your first impressions? And your
I'm not
theory.
Done.
No, you've forfeited.
Bridget,
here's why you're done.
Would you care to continue, Bridget?
No. Here's why you're done, okay? Because at the end of the night, you're going to be like, I have to go. And I'm like, you wasted 15 minutes making fart noises and sound effects. Nobody could hear the fart noises, but I made them for you. And then I get the complaints. Dave, maybe we could start a little earlier. Maybe you can get to the point.
And now you've wasted 15 minutes on this.
No, it was worth
David,
it.
David, being extra spicy.
But it was him talking, so it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. Bridget,
exactly.
Would you care to continue before I go on?
Well,
Bridget, I'm going to kick Bridget out of this recording.
Would
you like to go on?
Let me preface this by saying I got what I wanted. Not in this episode, but I got what I wanted this season with June. I wanted savage, badass, mess people up June, and I got it. Here's my theory. I've been wondering how in the world this show got so bad this season. Here's what I've come up with. The writers are trolling us. This whole season is one big troll.
Oh my God. I thought you had a real theory.
This is a theory. This is a real theory. Look, everybody was like, hey, bring Madison back. So they brought Madison back, but what kind of Madison did they bring back? Oh, we want Dwight and Sherry to have a happy ending. Nah, you don't get that. Their kid's gonna die and they're gonna split up 6 times. They set out purposely to write the worst stuff they could possibly write to get to us. And that's how I can look at it and not be too mad. Because I'm like, okay, they're just playing with us. It's okay. They're giving us back what we gave them for the past
Well, what
years.
Others may have given them is really more accurate. We've been pretty good about, for a while, until season 7, really.
Yeah.
Season 6, we had some moments.
I loved seasons 4, 5, and 6.
But the critique started coming in season 6 from us. Like near the end with the Teddy. And Okay, the first
I would say
memorable
the end of
one.
7.
No, even the end of
I'd
6.
say the beginning. Well, I think for me it was 7B was when I really got fired up.
I can tell you why. The clear moment was when Victor kickstomped Morgan. Well, first of all, complaining about Morgan throughout season 6
yeah.
as well.
Okay,
even though there was some redeeming moments,
clear
not the
moment.
but the clear moment was Victor kickstomping Morgan into the walkers on the sub.
How did he get out?
Exactly. Right.
Activate
but this is my
depth
point.
That's well. See, we figured that out.
We gave it a little bit of a pass in the first few episodes of season 7, like 1 and 2, even though 2 was a little annoying. And then all of this, it started going downhill from there, slowly.
Walking Dead live channel was showing season 6 yesterday, and I watched a couple episodes of season 6, and the disparity between 6 and now is just staggering. What happened to this show? Because this season 6 was good, and it was even the Morgan episode, and I was digging it. So my first impressions of this was I don't understand what is going on in this show. I just don't get it. I do not understand it, and I am the biggest fan in the world of Fear the Walking Dead, and I am sitting here going, I don't understand what in the world is going on in this show. Same complaint as always. Acting, great. Cinematography, fantastic. Direction, great. Everything was good. It's the writing. Winter, where the heck did they go? Walkers are getting flash frozen in the mud. Are they in the South still? Because there aren't a whole lot of places in the South that get that cold where you can flash freeze walkers in place.
Not for an extended period of time. Maybe like a few hours in the morning.
How did they get there so fast? Are they flying?
I don't think they did get there so fast because they traveled way far west.
How did they get back from the sanctuary so fast?
They had Tracy build a plane.
Yeah.
With their little fingies.
Okay, nobody can find Padre. It's this massive secret, but they can find each other in the woods, in the marshes, in the swamps with precision. They don't know where they are, but they managed to find Madison out in the middle of nowhere, but they can't find an entire settlement.
No one can find Padre except if you see one lighthouse.
Do you know how many lighthouses there are in Savannah?
Like 3.
Only one.
If you can't find Padre, how are you going to find the lighthouse? Isn't that going to be harder to find than a big settlement with boats going in and out of it?
It might take time, but they could probably find it.
It's just ridiculous.
I'm not that bothered by it. Anyway, I'm acknowledging I'm like going to be the only man out.
Again, show people, I love all of you. This is nothing against anybody on the show. Cast, crew, you guys are killing it. What you've got to work with. You're all
the shots
doing the
are
best you can.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the writing that you're being given is just ridiculous. And I can't think of any explanation other than they did it on purpose to troll the fans. Also, Tracy, Troy, troll. It's all right there. Conspiracy theory, y'all.
They all start with TR.
Tracy, troll, Troy, troll.
Tracy's named after Troy's mother. So it was already a name that was established in the universe. Tracy Otto's mentioned in the video for Teotihuacan. So
Oh, okay. I wonder where that came from.
yeah, we mentioned the blog when we first met her.
I love that little girl, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Antonella
She's
Rose.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
No, I mean, like, I love Tracy.
I love her Instagram too. She's very generous.
And the actress. Like, hello.
Yeah.
There are talented child actors in the world.
She was amazing.
Look at her.
I think you especially liked when she was trying to kill Madison, though. Didn't
I
you?
think
Yes,
other
that
than
was
June,
by far my
Tracy
favorite,
is my
yes.
favorite.
Do you know
I've
who
been
she
rooting for
reminds me
her.
of? A young Larissa Olenek.
Olnek? Oh
You
my
know who I'm talking
gosh.
about?
Yes.
That's who she reminds me of.
Where would I know her
The
from?
Secret World of
The
Alex
Secret
Mack.
World of Alex
you
Mack.
kidding?
Hello.
What is that? I've never heard of
Nickelodeon
that in my
show.
life.
She steps in ooze and then she
And
gets
she
these
becomes
powers and she can
Capri
turn
Sun,
into goo.
Dave.
Duh.
Okay, small factoid about me growing up. Didn't have cable.
Neither did I.
Neither did I. I still know about it.
I've never heard of
Same.
that.
Friends? Because
Alex
friends.
Mack.
Oh, we had
Mack.
friends.
Alex
have
Mack.
friends.
Alex Mack.
All right. Well.
Yeah. Tracy was giving me serious Grimes vibes. She had on Rick's murder jacket. That little plaid shirt she had on underneath looked just like
sure.
something we've seen Judith wear. She had cowboy boots on. She's got Carl's hair.
The bowl cut? No.
All she needed was a cowboy hat.
Well, did you get the same reaction to her that I did, that she kind of resembled Alicia?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay,
I was
so
screaming at my TV.
I'm not crazy. You guys were saying, no.
No, I was screaming at the TV.
With
I'm
a
like,
face.
watch this be Alicia's kid. And then when she meets Madison, I was like, Madison, that's your granddaughter. Say hey.
Now, I don't think that she is, but at the same time, since I heard it, when I first saw her face,
You know what? At this point, why not? Why
Sure,
the
sure.
heck not? Just why not?
they're setting up Alicia to be like the miracle Virgin Mary anyway, so let's just go for it. This is the promised one. This is Laurent's counterpart in the US. We've got Laurent over in France, and we've got Tracy here in the US.
It's a far
It's the
cry.
same thing. I love Tracy. When she was with Strand and Strand was trying to BS Madison, and Tracy's like, he pulled my blindfold off.
That was definitely one of my
Yeah,
favorite
girl.
parts.
So Tracy and Troy, other than June, they're probably my favorite characters on the show. And it's because they have expert Madison troll level. They troll the crap
And
out of
Victor.
her. Both of them.
I have a question for you guys. It didn't come to me until my second watch through the episode. So Tracy mentions Troy being her dad, but nothing she said has been overwhelmingly positive, in my opinion. Do you think she actually even wants to be with Troy, or was her mother killed potentially by Troy's people? And he's like, "You're my daughter now."
I actually thought as I was watching this really good episode that because she says at the end of the episode, she says something to the effect of, "No one's gone till they're gone is what got my mother killed," which means I believe my daddy. And so I was thinking to myself, okay, it doesn't matter whether she is or she isn't Troy's actual biological kid.
That's not what I'm saying, Dave. Like, I don't care about that. Like, adoption is a real thing, and it's a real thing in the show.
Right. No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that I think she's really proud of her daddy and his philosophy, which we got to see a little bit more of in this episode.
I'm not firmly convinced that it's Troy, though.
Oh, you think it's like Russell?
No, I think that maybe she knew her dad when she was really young, and that Troy killed her parents, and that now she's like been taken by Troy, because she says stuff like, "Oh, my dad will do anything to protect me." It didn't sound positive necessarily.
But it didn't sound like she was against it either.
She said it like she has seen him do stuff to
Right.
protect her.
I don't know. I don't know that she likes him. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
He chopped her mom's arm off and
No.
threw her out in the herd, so I can't believe that was super great for her to see.
Right? Well,
Do you think her mom didn't have an arm before that? I'm pretty sure he whacked her arm off and threw her out in the herd.
there's more to Tracy than we know, because the St. Christopher medal, she keeps rubbing it. So there's something else to this story. This can't be it. If this is it, I quit.
I don't
If
think
this
that's
is it
it.
for her story, that doesn't make any sense.
There's too many tells that there's more to the story.
Yeah.
So
I think she's his daughter, though.
One of them, I believe, I don't know that that's really Troy's daughter. And I mean, like, not
Well,
biologically, I don't care about any of that. I mean,
but wait, because it's how she's been raised. If she's been raised with a frickin' psychopath, then that's how she's gonna behave. Maybe there's not a lot of love there. So how would she know what love is? If Troy is her dad and her mom died, maybe her mom was the only place she got any kind of affection, and from Troy she did. So maybe he's her dad, and she's with him because he's her dad, but he's probably not the most loving, caring, nurturing father.
right,
Okay.
but if that's all
what
she
So that's what
knows,
she knows.
right, that's what you're saying. Okay, so Bridget, let's go with your theory. Then there is this interesting mirror between Troy and Madison, because just like Madison, Troy was snatching up at least a baby and trying to give it a better life than Madison's philosophy, which purportedly killed her mother. Let's just throw that out there.
well, okay.
So there's a little bit of a mirror of Troy and Madison looking into the same mirror and seeing something in each other.
Let me frame it in a slightly different way.
I know, I'm believing you. I'm just taking
Well,
it.
I want to frame it in
narrative
a
step
slightly
further.
different way so that maybe it makes sense.
Mm.
Maybe Troy was with them, because like we don't know if Troy is legitimately the dad or if she was pregnant before she met Troy. We don't know like the timeline of how long Troy has been around with this girl. Technically, she saved him. We don't really know the real true backstory. So let's say that they were together, but let's say, much like he does, he got her killed and Tracy holds some sort of animosity towards him. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think that she wants to go back to him.
I see.
I don't think she wants to be with people who kidnapped her, but I don't know that she wants to go back to him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Going back to the Iron Tire, do you think she was just looking at the trucks, the semi trucks, because she thought it was cool, like the other kid said, or she was trying to get away from him?
I think she was trying to get away from him. I don't know that this is real, and I don't like to theorize, but there was just something in it that made me feel like, why would you run out? Why are you hiding when they're calling for you? Because Strand hadn't left at that point. He found her in the wilderness, so I assume she was a little bit further out. So there's all of this stuff that's happened that I'm like, do you want to go back with him, or are you trying to get rid rid of him too.
She did grab the radio and tell him where she was.
Okay, true. All right,
Yep.
fair. Okay,
And
fair.
every emotional beat and excuse she makes for her father seems like she's really, really defending him. But maybe you're right. Maybe that's her way of. I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying let's just take your theory on the merits. She could just be getting in their heads to make them believe that she's getting in their heads so that she wouldn't take them back to him. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
There's just something weird about that relationship, and I just don't think we have the full story.
And I think we're going to get a little bit more of that in the next episode from what I've seen. Thomas says, and now Madison is going to travel 1,200 miles to Texas and try to find Walker Alicia.
That was one of the things that made me so mad, but also one of my favorite moments when Lucy was like, yeah, I got people who are breathing I need to worry about. Madison, everybody says she's dead. If you were that worried about her, you should have gone to look for her after the stadium or after you were rescued or after anything instead of waiting, what has it been, 7, 8, 12 years or something now? And now she's all worried about finding Alicia? Shut up and stay and fix your mess instead of
She cares
creating
more about
this
her daughter now
chaos
that she's dead than
and
she
then
did when she
bouncing
was
off to
alive.
find your dead daughter so you can put her to rest. Shut up. Do something
Mhm.
useful.
Now Nick is dead, and she knows, so she can finally pay attention to Alicia.
Oh,
Who's dead?
Snap. Shots fired.
I'm going to call it like I see it.
Hold on. Now, let's straighten one thing out. So is that where you think that Madison is going? She's going to find Alicia right now by the end of the episode? Because I got the impression she was going after Troy. Just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
No, I'm talking about that's what she did in this episode, was just fart off and leave everybody to
Looking
deal
for-
with her
yeah.
crap. Took everybody to the truck stop so that Troy would find him there, and then she farted off to go find dead Alicia while she should have stayed there and fixed her mess. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but just like Dwight in the last episode, the more she gets involved, the more people get hurt. So she figured, all right, I'm going to just do my own thing.
And then
No?
she took Daniel with her. No.
Well, no, that was definitely not a good move.
She's more worried about finding her dead daughter and putting her to rest with Nick than she is about worrying about alive people. That she created the situation they're in.
She's going to start a war and then piss off.
Yeah.
Like, all right, everybody, fight my war.
But I get where she's coming from. It's the same headspace that Dwight was in the last episode. If everything you do ends up making things worse, then what else is there to do?
Then she should have died in the
But
diamond.
Dwight didn't start a war.
It's not an answer.
Dwight didn't turn everybody's world upside down and then just piss off and leave them to deal with it. Dwight had his own business he ran away from. He didn't start this whole big mess and then leave to go find a dead person.
Well, I mean, those two things are separate things too, aren't they? Like, okay, I'm not going to make this worse, so I'm going to leave so that Troy doesn't attack Padre for the sake of trying to get at me. If I leave this situation, it instantly gets better
But
for
that's
everybody
not
at Padre.
why she left.
That's why she left.
She left because she wants to find Alicia.
No,
it has nothing
that's
to
what
do
I'm trying
with
to tell
saving
you.
everybody else.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. No, they're two separate things. One, she left because she ends up making everything worse, and she recognized it. She literally got Charlie killed, and she was guilt-stricken. She's like, I can't do this anymore. I keep thinking I'm going to make things better, and I end up making things worse. Then she's like, let's kill some walkers, which I thought was a really cool sequence with Motley Crue's Livewire. And then she hears that she can get her daughter's remains too, as well as Nick's. What, you thought so too?
Well, I love Motley Crue, so I was really excited.
She
Oh,
was
not
yesing the
Madison,
music.
killing walkers. Anyway, but my point is, okay, what else does she
Crazy
have?
how
She's
she went
just,
through that whole thing without needing her oxygen.
Right.
I'm sorry. Did you guys
you know
not
what? Actually, that's kind of cool.
She
She's
had to
got
hit her
selective
oxygen
smoke
one time in
damage.
this episode just to remind you
Just
that the
once.
writers didn't forget that she has it. It's okay.
And it was so
Like this
dramatic
once.
too. It was such a dramatic. It was like pause and then
And it wasn't even after like exerting herself in any way. It was purely for dramatic effect.
See, here's the thing. I have an answer to that, but it almost
Of
even
course you
doesn't
do.
matter.
Of course
No, it
you
almost
do.
even doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you guys are not going to appreciate it. Maybe you're onto something with that.
look, she is a selfish.
I don't think she is.
I have been
don't-
saying this since season 1.
At the end of last week when she just took off and left everybody, because that's what June said. I mean, Sherry said when they went to get Dwight. She started this mess and then she just left. And now we're left holding the bag having to deal with Strand and Troy, who is there for Madison, not for any of them. He can say Padre all he wants, but he's there to mess with Madison. But instead of her staying and dealing with her past, Victor and Lucy are the only other ones that know Troy, but now everybody else is having to deal with him because she just
And to your
left.
point, everybody has a different reaction to that too. But most of them agree that even with Lucy knowing about Troy, she says, give that girl back to Troy to avoid further issues. Eventually, everybody comes to that conclusion too, even though they don't know Troy. But Lucy knowing Troy says, give that guy back. Daniel's the only one who steps in and says, don't give that girl back. But his agenda is different though. G. Wilson's, as much of an a-hole Tracy kind of was in this episode, she's leagues ahead of Dakota. Yes, I agree. What do you guys think?
I like Tracy.
Yep.
She's a little spitfire. Let's make her the star of the next spinoff. I'm down with that because she's a cool little kid.
I'm Team Tracy.
Yep.
Tracy Otto. Thomas says every show should have character cosplayers. Alicia cosplayer saving the world. We need writer cosplayers.
Trolling.
What?
We got Alicia stands in the show. They managed to write that in there.
Okay, Jason Cohn, interesting factoid. It's funny that they use the lighthouse as a reference point. In real life, it's just down the river from the location used as Padre.
Actually, the lighthouse was also kind of a callback to 7-1 because that's where Strand and Will went when they went to look for Alicia. Was at
in the beacon.
The lighthouse that was in the middle of the park, in the middle of a land. But
that was fun.
Cool. Okay.
That was a fun factoid.
Look at the lighthouse. Remember the lighthouse. Good luck finding it in all these channels of weeds and swamps and reeds and rushes. I mean, good luck finding it again, but okay.
Just like a random lighthouse in the middle of the water. But what direction do you go from there?
Anyway, David Cron says, I did not mind the Alicia posse. Somebody finally doesn't mind something.
That was the dumbest thing.
Was that the dumbest thing?
Yes.
Karendy?
Yes.
That was the dumbest thing?
The Alicia cosplayers was the... How cool would it have been for Sarah to step down out of Swati?
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Yeah.
G. Wilson says, didn't Tracy say her mother was a walker that almost bit Madison? Yes.
God, what a disappointment. She didn't get bit. How poetic would that have been?
AJ Abbott says, if Tracy ends up being Alicia's daughter after all this S, I will buy the season on DVD just to burn it. Thomas says, they said there will be a major character death in the finale. I wonder if it'll be on screen or off. Ooh, shots fired. Takir says, oh, this is Fear. It'll be off screen. Never mentioned. Oh, actually, it'll be mentioned in dialogue repeatedly and plainly.
And with detail.
It'll be because they wouldn't let Strand help them.
Yep.
Again, Thomas says also, Bridget, you haven't answered me. You really watch this crap twice? Rather wash my testicles with a cheese grater. It's a lemon zester. Gronda says...
No. Nope.
It'll hurt more. Gronda says... Also, I thought Tracy was Alicia's, but I have no clue after this episode. Yeah, and it probably doesn't even matter. Thomas says, I don't think any of the actors want to go back to anyone in this. Thomas says also, and how the F did Alicia get the MRAP? It was left very far away. 7 years. She might have gotten it.
Althea died off screen and she bequeathed it to her in her will. So that's how she got the MRAP.
And it wasn't that far down the road because one of the Alicia cosplayers say we showed up to the tower as it was still burning. Right. And then they got the MRAP. So it wasn't
that far away,
like years down the road or anything.
Happened.
And they went back and forth 3 times in that episode.
What?
Why did they not get in the MRAP and drive away instead of getting on rafts and floating to Florida? I guess that's what they did. I don't know.
They didn't have
geography.
Somebody did. Alicia saved these people.
Alicia was like, God, I am sick of you people. Get away from me. I'm going to go start my own band of Alicia cosplayers. And we're going to go out and be like Robin Hoods or something. And what?
Shared her whole wardrobe.
You may be onto something on that with that one, though. That it was time for her to move on. I think that's what Alicia was trying to do.
Well, she's pretty rude about it. All you fuckers get on rafts and float away. Bye. Just float down the river.
And to be fair, part of what Morgan had found was that at least where they were on the water, that was a clear path or sort of way out of the fallout.
Typical Morgan, just always clearing.
It was like the only thing I'm remembering this so clearly. It was like the only thing you kind of liked because A, it meant that he would eventually leave the show as well. Like, oh, he's still around for a couple episodes in season 8. Damn it. Anyway, G. Wilson says, not gonna lie, Sharon, I kind of agree. I get Madison's love for her daughter, but after the season finale, when she told Morgan she didn't want to look for her, that told me all I needed to know. Thomas says she's not coming from anywhere. She's dead. This is all a dream.
No.
Which somebody said.
No, we will not Dallas. We will never Dallas. Stop.
It's not the Bob Newhart show. Shout out to Seth LaRusso for saying, well, let's let the audience vote that it was all a dream and John and June will wake up in the cabin.
I'm totally down with that.
I'm down with that, but it's not the show. It's not how it works. We have to suffer for our happy ending.
June wakes up and John is in the shower and John is Bobby Ewing.
I dreamt you were dead.
You're so silly.
Someone shot you, JR.
It's Junior. John Dory Jr. You got it.
Or Junior. Oh, when they wake. Oh, I'm going to add a little nugget to your dream sequence.
We're better writers. Why didn't we write the show? Because this is the
ending. And I just ripped off Dallas.
Terrible.
That's all that
Terrible. Terrible. Thomas says she left because she saw the next couple of scripts and realized they're crap. Jason Cohn says, finally some info instead of shade. I'm a little sad about this episode. It's still shade. I filmed the standoff scene when the trucks pull into the gas station. We jump out. We draw M16s on Madison and Strand. My position didn't make the final edit. Still had a blast on set that day, though.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jason.
That's
yeah, I mean,
sorry
listen,
to hear that.
It's awesome you were there.
It's awesome you were there.
It got cut.
Yeah.
And when I met you, you had nothing but great things to say about this, though. And it sounded like you had a ton of fun. And I kind of wished I was there.
Jason, we're never
jealous.
complaining about you ever when we talk about our complaints. We love you.
No, actors are amazing.
I think you can tell.
Yeah, we love the actors. Cast and crew all did a fantastic job.
Yep.
Don't speak for me. The writing's brilliant this episode. Okay, I took it a little far. On that one. I'm sorry.
You couldn't even get through that with a straight face.
I really didn't mind this episode.
Don't
There's
backtrack
a lot of
now. You said it.
There's a lot of good things about this episode, especially the dialogue
end.
in some spots.
The ending credits.
The way they say
Surely
the
you
words
jest.
were great.
Surely you did.
No, I'll get into it. Ron says, I also appreciate the Motley Crue scene. Thank you. AJ says, to quote Dwight, sounds like Madison's problem. And Luciana, by the way, too. AJ says, Tracy versus Judah spinoff series. Eesh. I don't want to see that.
I actually read an article where
I
they
don't
were
see that.
saying that Judith and Tracy were going to be the next generation of good and evil.
They could share a closet, though, because of their outfits.
They really could.
They're both Grimeses.
AJ says, Alicia Cosplay is fresh out of Comic-Con. Can I have your autograph, Madison?
Okay, so for real,
Points.
that scene made me think of Terminator when Kyle meets Sarah Connor for the first time and he's all starstruck because it's John Connor's mom. That was exactly how I felt when they met Madison. I'm like, oh my God, Madison's supposed to be Sarah Connor. What?
She was so rude to them, too.
And they did not mind for some reason.
I don't know.
We love
Thank
you
you,
anyway.
Madison. May I have another?
And then she steals their car.
I know. That was the part that I was like, whoa, you stole their car.
We'll stay and protect Padre.
That
'cause
kind of
that's what
tracks,
Alicia
though, doesn't
wanted.
it?
My favorite line. Are you ready?
Legitimately, or like?
No.
Of course not. Of course not. Nothing's legitimate.
When Strand said, I thought you were, and she goes, Alicia Clark, I get that a lot. From who?
From
who? I get that a lot.
That was a little sus. Yeah.
That's like when
That
you
was a
give
little
yourself
sus.
a nickname and you're like, well, my friends call me this. And your friends are like, no, we don't. You're
No,
like, yeah,
no one
people
calls
have
you
been
that.
calling me that.
Guys,
It's
people
a very
do.
good name. Some are saying it's the best name.
Guys. Anyway, Takir says, I finally figured out who I would be in the apocalypse with the Alicia cosplayers. I could see it. G. Wilson says, I wonder how everyone who brings up Strand getting that family killed in S7 are going to react to Troy harming the families at the ranch in S3 and Madison almost killing Tracy and Daniel allowing it. So she's talking about the cosplayers, right? I think they've kind of heard everything, really. They were there when they were about to kill Tracy, Daniel, and they still were like, whoa, we're big fans.
All right.
Madison.
Biggest character assassination of the show. Right there. You just said it.
Mhm.
Daniel.
No, I don't.
Madison,
think
I'm
so.
going to kill this little girl. Daniel, like, all right, here you go. Have
Let me
at
tie
it.
her up
Not
for
even
ya.
that.
Kill
He's
her.
like, he's so judgmental during. He's like, you sure you got the stomach for that? Which did crack me up.
I think it's quite an interesting choice, though, especially for Daniel, whom befriended Charlie, saw her as a second daughter, Lucy also, sure, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about what would be the thing that makes him break bad, essentially. And if you weigh these two things down, Daniel was traumatized as a child, saw the bodies of children floating down the river. He has no problem killing. He's used to it. And so if it meant getting back at Troy, he would do it for the sake of Ophelia's death.
I don't see Daniel of now.
I think it's interesting.
I do not think that Daniel would kill a little girl for the sins of her father.
I think he was doing it.
If that was the case, he would have killed Charlie way back when they sent her into a spy in his car.
It's oppositional to his own story arc, Dave, because if we go all the way back to season 3, he did not want Ophelia to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted the opposite. That would be as though people were judging Ophelia based on his sins. That's not ever what he wanted for her.
Right.
So
That-
it's like counterintuitive to his entire story arc, going all the way back to the beginning. Yes, is this reminiscent of the type of attitude he used to have? Sure. But it goes against exactly what he believes in.
I refuse to believe that her smartass remark to him in the car, Madison got your daughter killed. I refuse to believe that that was enough trigger to make Daniel kill a little girl.
Well, and saying that Ophelia was going to poison people, she said that because that's what her dad told her.
Right, and Daniel knows that.
She wasn't there for any of that. Exactly. Daniel knows that. And I think Daniel would have no problem killing Troy with a smile on his face. But I don't see him murdering his child out of vengeance. Yes, we know Daniel is capable of gruesome things, but it was for a purpose, not because he found enjoyment out of it.
No, it was for a purpose, and the purpose is to make Troy suffer.
I'm saying his past. What he did in the past didn't bring him enjoyment.
Daniel has grown from that. He's not that person anymore. So
right.
I see that as the biggest character assassination on this show of this episode.
And he's not going to make a child pay for their father's sins.
To stop Madison. Not only did he not try, he was like, here you go. Take her. Let it bite her. Don't worry about it.
But it does make Victor right about what he was suspecting about Daniel.
And then she runs away and she's like, my dad was right. They just tried to kill me. So, I mean, can you blame her? I don't know how she's going to run all the way back to Savannah, but...
The reason why they ran away was initially because Victor has suspected that June Atal would kill her, which I'm not convinced of, but
that
it ends
was the
up...
other thing. No, they weren't going to hurt that kid.
Well, see, that's the thing. But going back to what I was going to say was that the interesting thing is he ends up driving her to the exact people he shouldn't have, Daniel and Madison, whom end up being the people that would kill her and are capable of killing her. I just find the choice very interesting because to me, people backsliding into their past is totally believable. But Madison going the extra mile, I didn't like it, but given some of the things that we were saying about her being the villain that nobody's going to like by the end of this, I kind of liked it.
I wasn't surprised at all by Madison.
I was, though. That's why I liked it.
If there's two choices and this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing, Madison's always going to do the wrong thing, and I'm never surprised by that. But I don't think killing a child is Daniel going back to anything. When has he ever killed a child maliciously?
So no, I wanted to clarify that. What I meant by that is that I don't think it's outside his comfort zone per se, but I do think what's in his comfort zone is vengeance.
Well, he's capable.
Yeah, and I think given a push, he might be... Oh, thank you, Bridget. Can you agree with me on something?
Well, he is capable. He is a killer. Yeah. We know this.
Right. But given a push by the right person...
I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is that I don't think that he would kill a child because it would be like killing Ophelia.
Right.
I think he's not seeing that in the moment. And I think that's totally realistic.
I guess that I'm not wrapping my head around that. Ophelia was literally just brought up. So why would she not be fresh in his mind?
See, and I think that's because he's misinterpreting the signals. I think there's a part of him that isn't thinking about the virtues of what he was trying to impart on Ophelia. Don't be like me. He's thinking that man is responsible for her dying.
So I'm going to kill his daughter?
Just to make him suffer, which
Those
he
dots
says.
Don't connect to me.
It would be more believable to me if Daniel just stole her and was like, I'm going to raise you to be a decent person. Like that to me, like checks out more.
Yeah.
Him stealing her and taking her back to Padre and letting her be raised up among regular kids and regular people, I could see that. But letting Madison the kid get bitten, no, I don't see that. I don't see that at all.
I do. I don't know. Maybe this is like something where we have to disagree.
I want to play a game then. I want to play a game. Dave, will you please justify to me then the very first scene of this episode? Because right out the gate, this is actually why I didn't like this episode. Because I am tired of this same story arc again and again and again. We're against Strand. Strand's the worst. Blah, blah, blah. I actually hated the dialogue that June delivered. I don't hate June, but you've got to be joking. One, y'all don't even know Troy. You've literally never met him. He was dead as far as you knew, so you are not the authority on what he would and would not do. Why don't you trust someone who's actually met him? Someone who, by the way, you haven't seen in 10 years. And then yet, when you're on a boat, you're like, oh, Troy can't change, but you can? You just said he didn't change.
I loved all of those things. I loved all of it because they don't trust Victor for crap because Victor was the one who put them through hell. They established that in Anton too. Again.
She was there at the tower while he threw people off the tower.
Right.
And made every bad decision that led to the tower's downfall, which cast them all out and caused them to be where they're at now.
So of course she doesn't believe them.
But my biggest issue with that speech was when Victor threw it back in her face that, you had people die too the first time we met you. There's a slight difference between June leaving to go find her daughter Medicine and her daughter turning and killing people, and Victor actively throwing people off the roof of a tower. That comparison, no, Victor, no, you were wrong there. That was completely wrong.
But that established establishes the theme of this episode, which took me a while to find. And it's literally what Victor says with Tracy in the woods as they meet Madison. The truth lies somewhere in between. And you can see that all the way down the line as people are arguing against each other about second chances and making good come out of something bad. And what I liked about that dialogue is it makes everybody right, but also not everybody not right as well. Everybody's done something. Even when he's delivering the line about everybody's done something and he looks at Dwight and Dwight kind of looks down a little bit. Yeah, he killed so many in the name of Negan. Everybody has done something. And yes, you're right. Obviously, you're right. Victor has obviously done horrendous things, which makes this episode great because the chickens come home to roost. When it comes time to really tell people, in response to what you were saying, Bridget, when it comes time to say, hey, I know this guy, he's a psychopath. He's like, no, but you're a psychopath. No, I have issues. It's different. But still, at the same time, it's believable to me for people to say, no, you don't get a second chance.
That line was funny.
Not after what you did.
That
line
Dave.
was funny.
It's not that. What bothers me about this is why are we doing this again? Why is he the villain again? I don't understand. How are we going this route again? This is so stupid. We just did this.
Okay. Are you asserting that Victor is being villainous in this episode, though? Because I'm not sure.
I don't think he is, but everyone is treating him that way. And it's
Because
almost like the writing
him.
is like, here, let's make Victor the villain again.
I can see where they're coming from because he is a villain to them. He did royally screw them over. Now, for us, the audience,
can we move on from this, though?
It would be less believable if they did believe him and decided to give him a second chance. To me, I thought it was great that they didn't. Yeah,
I totally get where they were coming from, but I don't think Victor is the villain of this.
No, I don't think so either.
This at all. Is he making bad decisions again? Possibly.
Yeah,
maybe that's what's going on. You know, he didn't.
He
didn't learn from his past bad decisions, but this time, instead of making decisions because he needs to impress or not impress Alicia, I never really understood what was going on there in season 7. This time, he's doing it because he's trying to protect something,
right?
Instead, so I totally get that. I totally understand that. Their response.
No, I think this is baffling. This is baffling to me.
What is baffling about it, though?
There are so many other things to talk about in this show, and yet this is what we're spending like 15 minutes on at the beginning of the episode. Is this again?
Okay, there's a reason for that, though, because it really does go to what June says in the boat. You deserve a second chance and Troy doesn't. This is one thing that I noticed and we said this a little bit about him in Anton, because I feel like they're going to get to this point where, like, do we trust him or do we not? Has Troy actually maybe changed? And maybe the version that we're seeing on screen right now is him sort of doing a sort of Daniel backslide in this episode. Maybe every scene we see him in and doing all this crazy, dumb, sociopathic stuff.
That would make sense if Troy didn't then immediately kill a bunch of people. So even in this episode,
no, but that's what I'm saying.
It undoes even the setup you're saying that this is doing in the future.
But in Troy's perspective, he's doing it because he needs a place to live and to be safe for his daughter. So in his perspective, he's not killing people is what he has to do, just like everybody in our groups had to do to survive and get safe places. We see him as the bad guy. Well, I mean, some people do. I actually think he's hilarious, but
I think he's a bad guy too, but whatever.
Some people think he's the bad guy, but his motivations have changed because now he has a kid to care for. Just like Strand's motivations have changed because now he has a kid to care for. But if you've been scarred by these people, you're not going to understand that change or accept it, possibly, especially if you're just coming up on them. They knew Strand 7 years ago when he tortured them, basically tortured their existence and caused many of them to die and
psychologically, physically.
So they are very upset at him, but he's changed because he found someone to love and care for. And the same thing has happened with Troy. Troy was a freaking psychopath, but he's changed because now he's found someone that he has to motivate him in a different way.
Right. The only difference is that we're not seeing that point of view.
Right.
And I don't mind that we don't.
It's the same thing that we've always said about Negan,
That's
right?
All right. Well, I disagree. I think this was garbage, but it's fine.
Oh, I mean,
it's okay.
I agree with you.
You can still land on the same point.
Bad. It's bad and it's bad writing, and I'm tired of going over the same damn story over and over again. Move on. There's other stuff to talk about.
Well, I feel that way about the whole Strand Alicia thing. That was all of season 7 was I gotta
and 6 too
attract Alicia or keep her away or want her to be proud of me or want her to, I don't know what the hell.
That was the same complaint I had during 7.
But he's doing the same thing here too. It's because it's what Alicia would want. Oh,
is the same complaint I had during 7. One, that they undid all of the character development that had happened for that character in one fell swoop to be like, oh, he's the bad guy again. Remember, guys? Remember he's a con man? Remember? It's so depressing to watch. What even happened? We're just right back at square one with every character.
Let me hit on that. That I 100% agree with you on. It is depressing. To me, what you're talking about is upsetting. The dialogue back and forth between June and Victor was upsetting. It was upsetting to see two characters whom Victor, I want a redemption for him too. Just to your point on the last episode. And also you were saying it about Madison when everybody was gone, but also with...
I do want that for Madison, but I don't know. Well, clearly we're not going to get it.
Everybody happened to be not on the show when you said it. So I don't know if you believe
I'll say it. I don't care. I do want that for Madison because I would like for once for her to do right by her freaking daughter. And what does she do?
Yeah, no, I agree.
She finally wants to do right by her daughter and her daughter's dead. So what's the freaking point?
Which she says in this episode. I have nobody else left to disappoint.
And I liked it. Alicia would want her risking everything that they've been building to go find her and put her down? No, that's doing exact opposite of what Alicia would have wanted.
I don't think she cares. And I think that's real.
She's terrible.
She is terrible. That's the thing. I think everybody is terrible though. Okay, hold on. Because this is going to get me sus. I think everybody has the capacity to be terrible. And I think people do terrible things.
I agree
especially when they're grieved.
Everybody in the universe does terrible things. That's fine. She's just a terrible person overall.
I agree to disagree. But hitting on your point, I do think she's doing terrible things, increasingly terrible things. And I'll even go further. I think she's dragging everybody else down with her. Anybody that's within reach.
I'm sorry.
She self-sabotages.
Are you talking about the show or real life? Because Madison's definitely bringing the whole show down. Sorry, said it.
Oh, our show?
Yeah.
Our show.
No,
our think show right now, yeah. It's
I don't
really
know.
A downer.
I don't know.
Fear.
No, but it is depressing, but it's also compelling to me. There's something fascinating about watching this character explode.
Well,
because again, anybody in her vicinity is affected by this. You know how the dead bite or scratch or kill somebody and they come back and become undead also? Madison is doing that with people. Madison is doing that with Daniel. Daniel's like, hey, Madison, you sure you have the stomach for this? And she's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to kill this kid. I gotta tell you, there's something spooky about seeing a character go further down a hole. It's like I said in the last episode. I said, what's fascinating to me is it's brought up in this episode. What does Madison become when she has no one left to disappoint? Meaning, without the kids she was meant to protect, to be that for those kids.
She's still disappointing plenty of people.
Well, and so that's the thing. I think she's on a vicious... and again, you may not like this, and I think you're right. And I think you're right to not like this at all. But like for me, it's really compelling. It's really, really compelling. It's depressing, but it's compelling. But everybody's really upset.
I mean, I am.
I'm mad.
Rachel's going to make sounds or no sounds.
I wish I had a bucket of popcorn right now.
I'm so disgusted at how the show has gone.
Mm-hmm.
I really try not to get angry, and I really try to like every episode. I mean, I really do. I know you guys maybe don't believe me, but I really try to enjoy every episode.
I believe you. Of course I believe you.
But it's just so bad. And I dealt with it, like whatever. People hated season 4 and 5, blah, blah, blah. I like seasons 4 and 5, but now everybody hates it.
I don't hate it. I've been liking the last few episodes. I like this episode. I'm not everybody though.
I feel like we're all getting laughed at because we like this show, you know?
Are you kidding me? I'm telling people I like this episode.
I'm an idiot and they're like, here, I'll spoon feed you this garbage and you're going to take it.
I can't believe I'm even going to say this out loud, but I actually thought Strand had a point, and maybe Bridget is on board with this. I think keeping Tracy at Padre was a great idea for all the reasons that he said. From a viewer standpoint, I do agree with what Bridget's saying. We've seen this storyline, but also from a character standpoint, I can see why there is distrust for Strand. At the end of the day, I think they should have still recognized that his plan was solid. Having Tracy there prevented an attack from this group of people. Giving her back, what is that going to accomplish?
Not only that, but Rachel, they were willing to kill Strand over this.
Yeah, that escalated very quickly.
Well,
I like that a lot.
They were turning him over. Again, they're still scarred. Sure, they were able to put it behind him for 7 years because they didn't see him. What did we say about Maggie and Negan, right? She was able to put Negan behind her because she didn't see him for years and years and years. And then when she came back to Alexandria and all of a sudden she's face to face with him and all that crap comes back up. So that's what happened here. They haven't seen Strand in 7 years. For all they know, he's dead. Good riddance. Bye. See you later.
To Maggie's credit, she didn't try to kill Negan.
I feel like I started this, by the way.
But she would have. she wasn't against it.
Right.
No, she wasn't against it, but she didn't orchestrate
All of a
it
sudden,
either.
here's Strand back in their lives, and everything is topsy-turvy, and people are attacking them, and he's bringing kidnapped kids to their island. And so I totally get why they don't want him or her there. They just want him to, just get out of here. Go away.
Get him out of here.
I mean, when they were in the hotel, like they all agreed to take him in and move everyone at the hotel to Padre.
Because they had nowhere else to go because Troy
And
took
these were
over
his
the-
people too.
Right.
So was the plan always to invite him in and then kick him out eventually?
But the plan wasn't to have him be back in charge. That was the thing.
Right. He wasn't going to be in charge, and he wasn't going to bring this kid in there that would get them possibly attacked, because Troy might attack them, get his kid back.
He's
Right.
got to find out where they are first.
And Victor ended up being right too. Right, because
God,
the lighthouse.
hopefully he never comes across that lighthouse.
As far as willing to kill Strand over it, you know what? Turn him over. He's caused this problem and brought her here. Let's give him back if they've got a problem with him, because he would have done the same thing to us 7 years ago.
If they
Right,
want to
right.
rally together and kill someone, it should be Madison.
I mean, I totally 100% agree with you.
But Madison extricated herself.
No,
That's what I wanted
she
to hit on.
bounced.
All the more reason to find her and kill her. Bitch, you
It
started
wasn't
this
very
crap.
hard.
I'm going to end it.
Strand found her right after he jumped
right?
off a boat.
Just
had to listen
follow
for
the Motley Crew.
The reason I'm struggling with this is because, let's be honest, and let's
Have we not been?
realistically
Brutally.
well, let's realistically look at these characters. None of these characters are good people.
Yes.
Isn't that the whole point of the show? Everybody's
But that's
great.
why this is so unrealistic that they're like, but you're the worst of
The
us.
worst.
Even though
Yes.
we're all
Right.
horrible.
But I do understand their point, because they were put through a hell by Strand, especially June, who was stuck in the tower with him.
I guess because the season was so bad, I just don't even care that it happened.
And made to suffer in silence too.
I hated that season so much.
That's
just
what I
don't
was saying
care that it
before. You
happened.
don't care.
Like, I
you
don't
don't care even the reasons
But
at this
Dwight
point.
and
No, I
Sherry
don't.
maybe
I'm
not
so
so much,
angry.
because they
I'm
were
so
in
angry.
and out. But June was in the tower watching him cause all these problems and torture all these people and cost her father-in-law, basically,
And
because
Charlie
of what he was
got
doing.
sick because of him.
And
yeah.
Charlie.
Morning Cloak.
So, I mean, I totally get why they're like, oh, you're out of here, buddy. Get out of here.
I should reiterate, I didn't like this back and forth. I didn't like that they were railing on my Strand, who I hoped had a redemption arc coming. But at the same time, it's valid. And even Victor was valid too in his points.
I definitely think their feelings are valid. I would also be hesitant having Strand be in charge of things,
Yeah.
but he can like be there with his little family over here. Go over there and do your thing.
But he wasn't. And that's the point.
You
Yeah.
just made the point that June and Dwight and Sherry don't know Troy. So Strand could
Hmm.
just be telling them, oh, he's going to hurt me or he's going to kill me if you send me back. But they don't know that because they don't know Troy.
Oh, it's like Negan too. The Croat wants me dead.
June probably doesn't care if Troy kills Strand.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
No,
They're
but
like,
that's the point.
Strand
no
would
one
be
wants
saying
some of
that
that.
just to save his own ass, you know? So he doesn't,
and that would
they could
that
not
would be
believe him.
within his character to lie to save
Well, we
his own
also
skin.
saw him almost kill him too in Anton. So it's completely believable that Troy would
Well,
kill
they like
Strand,
yeah,
given the
they
chance.
busted in at the last second there. They
Right.
didn't see the whole amp up, but still, yeah.
It's quite the ramp up too.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean,
Yeah.
all those people had to leave because Troy would have killed them had they stayed. And yet they're like,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. Like, he's not gonna be fine. This guy does suck. You guys
Yeah.
know it. Their whole colony was taken over by him. He was like waltzed in and he's like, this is mine now.
Yeah. And Strand is a bad guy. I am fine with that.
Strand messed them all up so bad they wouldn't even take food. They'd rather die. So,
That's
I mean,
right.
It's not in my head canon, but it's fine.
Well, we're not talking about specific people, but again, why I like this episode the most is that
Because you knew I was gonna
certain-
get mad.
No, with as much as they've forgotten, and just tying this in a bow, at least, with as much as they have forgotten, or the people they have forgotten, at least listen, credit where credit is due. They didn't forget about the tower. They didn't give him a second chance. I loved that. I love that they didn't do this, maybe,
isn't that
The
like
same thing
Strand's
over and over again.
54th chance?
that's what I'm saying. He's not getting another chance. And I like that. Don't do the things over and over again. Things don't have to repeat. Sometimes people don't deserve second chances. And I'm sorry, it sounds like I'm yelling at you, but I'm not. But I'm just really amped. I'm really amped about this. I'm amped
It's okay.
about the
I was
fact that there was
literally
this.
yelling at you like 5 minutes
I know.
ago,
I've
so
been
it's fine.
I've been
No,
yelling
no,
through
I'm
the
not.
whole
I'm not
episode,
yelling at any of
so-
you. I'm just really excited about just this point. Is that it's so exciting to see this back and forth between June and Strand, and them both being right, and the truth being somewhere in between. There's something so compelling about that, and callbacks to the FEMA shelter, going out to get meds, her daughter being the reason why all those people are killed. And yeah, she didn't mean for it to happen, but it happened. happened. It was horrible.
Again,
Objectively horrible.
That Strand was comparing apples and crab apples there because they're vaguely similar but very
I
different.
didn't think that was
But
what he
there's a
was referring
strata,
to.
right?
Yeah, he was referring to the
FEMA camp.
Yeah,
I didn't
when
think
they
he was
met.
referring to
Because
that.
he
I thought he
said
was
they
referring
went
to
back
Padre and the like testing on people. And that's what I thought he was talking about.
Oh no.
Well,
He said when we first
Sure.
met.
When we
He said
first
when we
met.
first met.
Oh, okay. All right.
Naomi.
Yeah.
And then I also thought he was talking about Alicia almost getting killed.
He may not know about the experiment stuff because he wasn't at Padre. He was off living in the hotel. So
That's
he may
right.
not know
He doesn't
anything
know.
about the
That's true.
experimental stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
Dwight and Sherry know.
Yeah.
Hey, June
And the
did what she
experimentation
could.
was under duress. I mean, she wasn't choosing to. That was.
Well, and nobody's arguing that. And
Forced.
all of this
Yeah.
is
Did you
uncomfortable.
see June's little wooden finger in this episode? She did have it on. If you could
I didn't
catch
see
I
it a
was
couple
too
of
busy
scenes.
looking
didn't-
everywhere.
Yeah.
I was too busy being
Everywhere
furious.
else. I wanted to go to your point about fast travel. And it's something I did think about and did annoy me.
Timelines.
Fast travel.
This includes the lighthouse, sure. Remember the lighthouse. But this also includes fast traveling to far off places where it's colder in what seems to be short spans of time, etc. But it just occurs to me, with so few episodes left, this episode didn't even give me the attention span required to harp on that. There
No.
was so much going on in this episode.
And we introduced
was jam-packed.
brand new characters.
Also,
Why?
and that's another thing I liked about this episode. Something that I said 2 episodes ago, I think it was. What I really liked about this last half of the season was that we were slowly getting more and more people on the screen. They had the right mix of people on the screen. However, and I'm not sure how you feel about this. No, really, I'm asking. I think, to your point, maybe there was a little too many characters either introduced or too many on the screen at the same time. This is quite the ensemble.
I would rather have Sarah and Wendell than have whatever fresh hell this is.
Thank you.
I get it.
Bring Sarah back. We don't need 3 Alicia cosplayers.
I get it. Cool. You wanted to do that storyline? You should have done it earlier. You should have started it at the beginning of this chapter.
Have Sarah come in with doing the Alicia cosplay. She can have a metal arm and wear the Alicia style clothes and be
can
driving
see it now.
swatty. Why don't we do that? Bring back a character we know and care about that we have been screaming about all season instead of bringing in these 3 strangers that we don't even care about. And now next episode.
Oh God,
We'll
we gotta
never
start
see him
reading
again.
comments.
Oh, G. Wilson's, yes.
That's what I'm saying. We got to start reading comments.
Yeah.
When they introduced the Alicia cosplayers and she starts telling these stories about Alicia after we all thought she was dead. And yes, I understand that episode was left very open-ended. Everybody was like, what happened? Did she really die? Did she not? Da, 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 da. So
Did
this
she
confirms
magically wake up on the
that
beach
she was-
healed.
Thank you. So this confirms that what we saw in that ending episode, she just wakes up, she's magically healed. Oh, look at the
Is
color
true.
back in my cheeks, and the air is suddenly clear. And like, what?
Guys, she gave birth to Tracy right on that beach, and
what
she just
right there.
in
lost.
the
She
dread
just waddled
pirate
off.
Roberts?
Look, the whole reason they left was because
True.
it was on fire and the
Nice,
nuclear
Bridget.
zombies were going to spread nuclear zombie smoke all over the place. That's why they all had to leave. But yet Alicia can go back and find people and they're
Yep.
okay. I don't, what?
I don't know. That doesn't bother me. What actually bothers me about that, though, a little bit, is
Swatty.
not even that. They got the fuel from the generators, according to whatever, to be able to drive long distances with Swati.
Alicia went in and
Such a
got all the
disappointment, though.
gasoline and everything they needed. And she went in the burning tower and got it all herself. Oh, where Alicia stands. That makes no freaking sense.
Well, then Alicia had to use a breathing mask too, like her mom. After
That
that,
would be ironic.
Be hard to hold with that metal hand.
To your point, what I didn't like about this episode was I would have preferred them leaving that piece out, making her either more nebulous, and they may still do that. They may be making a total story up about this supposed Alicia. But then again, she told her all about their mother. No, they could have learned about it on the tapes.
They did learn about her on the
Instead.
tape because they wore the tape out. They watched it so many times. I actually, to my point, Dread Pirate Roberts, I want this to be not even Alicia.
That's what I'm saying.
I want it to be someone who says they're Alicia.
You
Clark.
literally femsplay me 2 episodes in a row.
It's Al.
It's
Isha.
Owl.
Al.
It's Al Alicia.
Al Isha.
And yeah, and it could be Al, by the way, that is doing all this. Why not?
I'm sorry, but Al and Isabel are off living in their little cozy cottage.
Cozy
together.
shack, right? Not being attacked by the CRM.
Hope they're not in Texas.
They found a baby
Right,
somewhere
they're in
and they're cozy
Tennessee, the mountains. Anyway, whatever.
Well, I hope they didn't
They were
get
pretty
caught in the
close to me,
flash
actually.
freeze either.
So let me finish my my
Stop
thought
it
though.
right where you stand.
With regards to Alicia, though, that's not how I want to find out that if she happens to be alive and if these ladies are telling the truth. That's not how I want to find out about this. To your points, off screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the reveal I want.
I really do not think that ADC is coming back.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either.
I think they all but confirmed that she's dead.
Here's my prediction. They're going to be reunited because Madison's going to die, and the last thing we're going to see is the three of them with our backs to us walking off into heaven or some crap, all reunited together, and we'll have stand-ins for Nick and Alicia and Madison walking in the middle, and they all go off together. And or everybody gets abducted by aliens.
I'm down for alien abduction.
I don't think you'd be a better writer for this show, but I think that would be better.
It does
than
really
maybe
play
what
into
come
the
up
space spore thing, though.
And then they play space junk.
Yeah.
And then
writing.
Tobias comes down.
Yes,
and he's
it's
like,
Tobias.
Yes.
And he's
Tobias
like,
is the leader of the aliens, and he's just
my
like,
planet needs me. And then
David's out.
He just poochies his way out.
Yes. And he's like, I told you.
Dave missed it.
Yes. He'll catch it in the edit.
Dave, you missed it. You missed my ending.
Good.
It was really good.
Does Tobias die?
No, he goes, I have to
Okay,
go. My
bye.
planet needs me. And then he just shoots up into the air.
All right, actually, that's not so bad. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I like it.
Somebody is going to be Randy Quaid and fly their plane into the mothership and say, in the immortal words of my generation, up yours. Right.
Goodbye, and thanks for all the fish.
And then June could help out with the up yours because she's already missing the finger. She only has to bend one down,
She just toss it.
I'm giving you the finger.
Literally.
She might even chop off her middle finger and just toss
throws
it.
her wooden
Take it
finger
off
at
and
him.
throw the wooden
Yeah.
finger at him.
Exactly. Jeebus says, since we're bringing up the actor so much in this episode, I want to shout out Coleman Domingo.
Yes.
He had a movie this Friday,
I
Rustin.
love him.
Again,
Ooh.
the acting,
Yep.
most of the acting is fantastic.
99%.
Yeah. First lead role on a feature film, and I'm so proud of him. Oh, I should say also, one little factoid about this episode was when Tracy was pointing on the map right before they get out of the car, or right before they eject Victor out of the car,
That was fun.
she is pointing to Coleman Lake. I thought that was kind of cute.
Aw,
Cute.
that was funny.
They're still in Georgia. They just happen to be really further west of where Savannah is for sure, obviously.
Really far into space and time because there's no other reason that it's frozen.
Tobias
It's
beamed them
frozen.
everywhere in this episode.
I live in the South, and yes, we do get freezes. It does get cold, but it lasts maybe a day or two,
And it can happen fast.
but not enough to flash freeze you in your tracks.
No.
I'm sorry, that's not gonna.
Are there like mountainous regions of Georgia?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
like-
still not gonna flash
looked like
freeze
they were up
anybody
there.
in the mountains. It's still not gonna flash freeze anybody in place.
AJ says, I guess Alicia Cosplayer trying to do some Disney World crap. Quote, come to the MRAP and take a picture with Alicia. Takiri says, I feel like the cosplayers know exactly who Madison is, and I think they're okay with it for some reason. Takiri says, I was not surprised at all that Daniel did that. I'm sure he's done worse, and he's so angry and wanted to get back at Troy right now. Thank you. Thomas says, Daniel has effing dementia. No quote-unquote magical juice cures dementia. Excuse me, that's yerba mate.
I almost bought some of that the other day just so I could take a picture of it.
Oh,
It's
whoever
not
has
that bad,
Daniel
actually.
in Secret Santa.
Yep.
Oh, Rachel, I think I might want to trade with you, but we'll see. I
Rachel
feel like
I
I'll
don't know
do
about-
No, Rachel is not
I don't know.
allowed to trade.
No, she's allowed to trade.
No.
It's not fair.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I'll give her up.
Okay.
I think it's going to be so
But-
good to just,
Yep.
I
If
know
you
you're gonna
waver-
rip into her.
Anyway, AJ says Daniel needs some memory juice to help him remember he's not the guy to kill a kid like that. Rebuttal. Walking Dead Eternal says, the three girls who saved Strand telling him about Alicia, I don't think they were all that the way honest.
Oh,
Okay.
one of those girls, by the way, is Scott Gimple's wife in real life.
Oh,
Really?
I don't know which one.
oh.
What?
The only one that seems appropriate was the one who was driving.
Yeah.
Because the other ones seem far too young.
That's the one that popped in my head too. Yeah.
I want her beauty regime. G. Wilson says, as someone who lost a daughter himself, Daniel encouraging Madison to kill Tracy. Well, it was more the other way around. It was Madison encouraging Daniel because Madison's the one who said it, and Daniel's like, I don't. But okay, Daniel encouraging Madison to kill Tracy just felt like something that was completely out of place, and he was just coming out of a dark place too. Well, and that's the point, I think. Really, Thomas is also Rachel. You coughed. You need to dramatically suck on your oxygen tank. Where the F is Skidmark? Dead. Dead.
It's been too many years now.
Promise is broken.
Skid marks on the alien ship. He's the one that sent them back.
He's the captain of Tobias's alien ship.
Yes.
the Iron Tiger. That's where they got the
He's
name.
the Iron Tiger. Yeah, there you go. We solved it.
Except aliens don't eat iron. They're far more evolved than that.
So that's the irony, though, Sharon. Is that
Dwight is the one that uses the iron.
That's the sound it makes. Thomas says, Dave, you should be committed to a psychiatric institution for loving this. No, agree to disagree. Oh, but the other part of my brain agrees with you. Takira says, but damn it, this episode was all over the place. Agreed. I will agree with that. The one last comment I wanted to say on that, because I kept getting sidetracked and wavy, windy, wooby, is that this season, I think, would have been a lot better if they had more episodes to flesh, especially with this one. It was too all over the place. There were too many characters on screen, too many people coming in, and too many things going on, too much fast travel, to your point, was what I was trying to say before, to be cohesive. These are almost two separate stories and one they could have focused on. But maybe, I don't know, maybe because it's racing towards the end, and maybe because they didn't want to keep doing the whole character-focused episodes too. They went, oh, people didn't like that, so let's do an ensemble.
They went from one side to the other. They went from having one character per episode to having 50 characters
It's part
per
of
episode.
the troll. I'm starting to agree with you, Sharon.
Thank you.
They're like, you don't want anthology-style episodes?
Right.
Here you go.
Oh, you want to know where Sarah and Wendell are? Here you go. They starved to death because they were too proud to Strand help them.
But we'll actually
now the show didn't
it.
say that. Jinx. No, but I was thinking about this on Sunday. Isn't this what we said about the show? We said, stop listening to the fans and do you. And I feel like as much of it that I actually kind of like, I like that Madison isn't great. I like that Madison is maybe the villain that nobody expected or nobody even wanted. I can accept that explanation as well. But I don't know how much input from the fans that they've been taking for the last few seasons. Because ever since the last few seasons, because we've all acknowledged it feels like they're listening to the fans in some respect. And I don't like it. I'm okay with 4, 5, and 6 because they stuck to their guns and tried to tell a story from their point of view, what they thought this story should be about. And I feel like 7 and 8, because 7 was planned with Madison in mind at the end, or at least somewhere in the planning process midway through.
There's a big glaring yes to that, and that's bringing Madison back.
Hey, language.
I'm sorry. I do apologize. Okay, edit this out. A big glaring yes is
they
that
brought
they
Madison
back.
Yeah. But that in and of itself wouldn't be bad.
One little loud contingent of people that wanted her to come back. And so they brought her back and shoehorned her in and tried to write everything around her, and it just made everything terrible.
But you know what? You can bring Madison back and the show be even good or better. But that's not what happened. Other things were listened to too. They didn't like the character focused episodes, so they kept on weaving in more characters.
These have been pretty character focused in season 8. I mean, a couple of them have been sort of ensemble, but this was the only one that's really had a lot of one.
Right. And I'm not saying that's bad.
I was one of those people that was like, okay,
where are characters?
The anthology style was cool for a couple of seasons, but what I liked about season 4 and 5, one of the things I liked about them was that all of our characters were in most of the episodes. We had a couple of bottle episodes, but most of them were all of the characters. Now, they may not all be in the same place, but all of the characters were in the episode. When we talked to Bill, he said that the fans' responses to episodes like Laura and Close Your Eyes and Althea and Isabel episode.
Right, 505.
People responded to those so well that they decided to go in the direction of doing more like that. But what they needed to do was
didn't help.
Find a balance. You guys remember 801 when they opened the season with Morgan and Madison and nobody else? I lost my mind. Because it was like, why? They're not the only people on this show. They're not who I'm here to watch.
And that was still filmed during COVID-ish times too,
801
right?
was not.
Wasn't it though?
No.
Well, either way, as for the rest of the season though, they slowly included more characters along the way.
After
That's
802,
kind of what I'm saying.
I was like, all right, I wouldn't have been, if I had seen 802 before we recorded, I wouldn't have been so mad. But I was just furious that was what we got in the opening episode was Morgan and Madison. Come on. This is what I'm excited for? Not.
Right. G. Wilson says, I like so much G. Wilson. So you get to change, but he can't. That's the thing. Troy has never changed. He's even admitted to wanting to kill the people at the ranch again. That technically isn't his or his father's. Can we talk about this just for a sec? Because we touched on it a little bit, but do you think Troy has changed and we just haven't seen that side of him? And that maybe this is where the season is going? That we're not seeing the whole of it. We're just seeing the worst of it?
Changed away from like
being season 3 Troy.
I don't know. That's tough to say. I don't think we've seen enough of this new Troy. The only thing we've seen from this new Troy is is his vengeance for Madison. I mean, he's like, oh, I gotta find a place for my people to settle and be safe and everything. But I feel like the bigger point here is screwing over Madison in the process. Because there's a lot of different places he could have went to find a safe place for these people. But he chose to seek out Madison and kill her or like destroy everything that she's doing. To answer you, no, I don't see much change in Troy.
Yeah, after this episode, I'm completely unsure, which is fine by me, actually.
I mean, we don't know if he's still like experimenting on people. We don't know.
It was just a phase. It was just a phase.
It's not a phase,
yeah.
Mom.
Yeah.
And we did get to see a little bit of softness when he was panicking, trying to find Tracy. And there was almost like this weird moment where Madison and he could have reconciled until she saw the one-armed walkers and realized that was his doing.
Which, sorry, I don't want to backslide into another episode, but how
I
did
know,
she not think that was him?
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
What an idiot.
But this is like the werewolf thing that we've talked about. Like, it's easy for us to say because we have this omnipresent point of view too.
I know, but she's like, who's cutting all these arms off the walker? Who the hell do you think it is?
G. Wilson says Madison was the one who left Strand alone in the first place. So if June, Dwight, and Sherry have an issue with it, why not take it out on her? Listen, if wishes were horses, we'd all be eating steak.
I said this last week too. Why does everybody fall all over themselves to do what Madison wants? Oh, we gotta do this for Madison. Shut. You don't have to do crap for Madison.
Who are we talking about specifically? Do it for Madison? Oh, you mean Victor?
June, Dwight, and Sherry.
Right.
Well,
Everybody
June
falls
and Sherry
all over
and
themselves
Dove.
to do crap for cover up for Madison. Why?
Well, they're just covering up because there's nobody else that's going to do it, or especially Madison. So
Yeah, because she sucks.
that's really what it is. It's not really for Madison.
They're like, Madison got us in this mess, and now we got to fight our way out of it. As
And to
usual.
your point, I don't think they like her pretty much at all. Luciana especially.
Yeah, like
no, she
Luciana's
does.
like,
Good.
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. Again,
Yeah.
I can dislike the decisions and still like the character because they're compelling. I'm not saying I like Madison because she's a
She's
good
so
person
flat.
necessarily. Well, that's a whole other topic of conversation. Takira says he might want to take care of Tracy, but his motivations are revenge. Oh, interesting, Takira.
Mhm. I like that.
Maybe. And maybe we'll see that struggle. Is it worth more to go after Madison than to keep his daughter safe? And he kind of proved a little of that is wrong too. Was it Luciana says, it's like they didn't care if they lived or died. Meanwhile, Victor does care deeply. He does not want to be killed because he has people that would mourn for him. And I like that some of that was in this episode and shown on this episode. Granza says Madison is like a virus, though. That's interesting, compelling and depressing. Oh, when I was saying about Madison being the virus that makes everybody worse. Yeah. Again, compelling. Doesn't make me happy about it, but it's compelling.
She's a parasite.
Listen, I am a little happy about it. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I love chaos.
That explains why you like this episode. You love chaos, and that's exactly what this episode was.
I love chaos. I don't like chaos
That's
for
why you're
chaos'
liking
sake.
this season, because this whole show is just devolved chaos.
No, but there's chaos and there's beauty in the chaos, and then there's chaos for the sake of chaos. I don't think this was chaos for the sake of chaos. There were some really interesting things going back and forth. G. Wilson says Negan treated Dwight and Sherry worse than Strand treated them. Put a pin in that. Yet they are being both depicted as equals in their eyes, and I don't know how to feel about that.
It's true, because just think of how Negan treated Sherry. Yeah, end of story.
End
End of story. I don't even need to go into anything else.
Yeah. I don't even think you need to compare the levels. It's just Victor was just awful. It was awful. It doesn't have to be Negan awful to be awful in such dire scarcity and the ability for nobody to survive. And Victor's like, nah, I don't want to let you in. You know, it's just kind of, it's like another level or different realm of cruelty, I think. But you don't have to compare. Takira says Strand to me was the only one left, the only one with a plan that made sense. And again, that's the irony. I think that's why I like the most about this episode. It was a little confusing at times because I too, as an audience member, was like, is he doing this to save his skin purely or even partially? I asked myself 3 times in my notes, I don't know, this doesn't line up. It's the only thing that I was iffy on. But yeah, apparently it was all about Tracy. And did you guys get the sense that Victor was doing what, there was like a little bit of role transference, that Victor was doing the Madison thing that she was doing throughout the 7 years? He was being Padre, that he was ripping Troy's daughter away from him because he wanted to give her a better life, right or wrong.
Oh, that's
No.
what they said in the
No.
episode or Insider. So I
No.
guess that's what their intention was.
I did not.
I watched it. I guess
Remember
that
that.
was
Okay.
their intention, according to them. That didn't really make sense.
Just to make him
It's fine.
Padre, basically.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that? Does that make Victor, because I have problems with that. I think,
Number one, I didn't see him as ripping Troy's daughter away. They found her in the flippin' woods after she ran away. way.
I agree, but the fact that he decided to keep, see, like the truth lies somewhere in between.
I feel like he decided to keep her because he could use her as leverage. I don't think it had anything to do with him wanting her to be in a better place or have a better life. He was using her as leverage to keep Troy away or to keep Padre safe.
He said as much.
Yeah.
So the episode insider refutes that. The writers are saying that's not true.
So they refuted
Then why
their
would they
own
write
writing.
that line? Yeah, they're refuting their own writing.
They said that he wanted to give Tracy a better life.
Yeah.
But he literally said she's here so that Troy doesn't attack
I know.
us.
Refuting
No,
their
but
own writing.
it's a yes and. It's a
Yeah.
both things can be true. Both things can definitely be true.
When we're
Yes,
talking
it's
about
leverage.
Strand, I'm going to wholeheartedly disagree. But who am I?
You're Rachel. We love you. And yes, it's leverage to prevent him from ever coming and attacking the island. Maybe because, again, we see in this episode he's capable. Even when he's overwhelmed, he went and decided to shoot anyway. So it makes him wrong, but it also makes him right.
I also don't think he's using her as leverage just for himself. I think it's also to keep Frank and Klaus safe.
Absolutely. And I love that the most about this.
In this situation,
There's a lot of reasons.
It's not only his butt he's trying to cover. It's also his family.
And he's doing it all for them. Whereas in the tower, it was for himself.
For himself, yes.
Yeah.
G. Wilson says, I refuse to put a dead skid mark out there in existence.
Yeah.
Well,
agree
see,
that too.
skid mark is with Sarah and Wendell, and he died because he also wouldn't take any Strand.
He's the
He
world's
hated
most
Strand, too.
judgmental cat.
That's right. He was like, meow,
What a
meow.
catty chat. Chatty cat.
Meow.
Anyway, meow.
Diego Ramos joined and says, hey guys, you seen any episode 11 and
Diego.
12 reviews? I have not, because
Refuse.
a ton of people are refusing to review the episodes.
I also have not.
Just so you know, there's not a lot of reviewers reviewing them because they don't want to.
And they're not allowed to,
They stopped
really.
reviewing the show, period. But two, on top of that, I'm not a spoiler fan. I don't
Yeah,
think
I don't
anybody
like
on
spoilers.
screen right now likes spoilers. We hate them.
I didn't even read the reviews after this because of how something that I was going to say at the top of this episode was, and this is before we even got on, I said, okay, it's very easy to see a lot of people not liking this episode naturally, for sure. Fine. I feel like the hate's a little bit overblown. And I think part of that is because some of the reviews right after this episode, or even before this episode, some people tweeting about it and saying, oh, this is the worst episode. I think that gets in people's head. We've talked about this too. This is why I hate spoiler-free reviews in quotes, because I do think that it influences people. I think it plants a seed in people's brain. And then when people see the episode and see things they don't like about this episode, I think it really, really influences the way they feel about it overall. Rachel's going to say, I barely caught up on these episodes as it is.
I wanted to put that in more context.
I can agree with you
Okay.
a little bit, but I can promise you that my hatred for these episodes comes from deep disappointment
I believe
in
you,
this
though.
show.
Yeah,
It
I
is
believe
not
you.
because I've seen reviews or whatever, the reviewers, which I have seen, but that had nothing to do with why I'm so angry.
But I also believe that it does help you unleash a little bit more. When other people are hating on something, it makes it a lot easier to hate on something too.
To put David's comments in even more context, he doesn't even allow us to discuss the episode with each other before we record, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, so this way when we meet, we each come in with our own uninfluenced opinions. Is that fair?
I can't say that how I feel about something has ever been influenced by someone else. The discussions that we have help me understand things that I'm confused about that maybe I don't have a feeling on. But when I have a feeling about something or I have an impression of something, that does not usually get swayed by anyone else's opinion.
Here's why you're wrong. Here's why you're wrong.
You guys have been able to change
About
my
your opinions.
opinion before, but just because you've maybe given me a perspective I didn't have before.
That's all we try to do.
Yeah,
That's it.
there's
Maybe.
that.
I mean, there's moments like
That's
that. But I mean, I agree with you.
We don't
'cause
try
I
to
just
convince
got-
you otherwise.
I just got fiercely angry about the beginning of this episode and was yelling about it. My opinion hasn't changed on that at all. I'm still hella
Right.
mad.
Right.
But it is what it
My
is.
opinion on
It is what it
Madison
is.
has not changed despite David's love for her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I would never want you to feel otherwise, by the way. I come from a particular point of view, and there may be others like me, which is rare, that have that point, which it happens though. Carranza, sometimes, not today. Not today, Carranza. Today, Carranza's like, oh, you're on your own, bro.
Carranza. Yeah.
I wish my name wasn't David.
Even
Carranza
Carranza
says.
can't defend
No, he
you.
didn't say that at all.
Yeah.
Hey, to other David? Anyway.
AJ says, another gripe I have with this one is that they built that tension with Troy and the standoff Luciana, and then we just skip right over it. But God forbid
Yeah.
we skip Dwight versus Dollar Store Saviors.
I like the dollar store saviors though.
G. Wilson said you can just tell the budget for the show is tight when you have the repeat footage from 807 plus the lack of fighting scenes. And I'd like to throw in another thing. I'm pretty sure they reused Charlie's wig on the Alicia Walker.
The fake out Alicia.
Oh,
I am like 100% sure
Get
that is
outta
the
here.
same wig.
It's a very dark wig.
Cut very straight.
Yeah.
Very straight.
And treated. Yep.
It's crazy how rich in color it was for no blood flow.
Have you noticed that this season kind of has the washed out look that season 4 had? Especially thinking of Charlie episode. That was a very gray tone.
Oh, yeah, that was really washed out.
Yeah.
And I think that was intentional too. It brings you back to the close your eyes mood in a way. Because that whole episode was this washed out or dark or washed out or dark.
Ooh.
That blue tone. Rachel's in a mood. Laughs.
No.
David Kranza.
I am a mood. I'm not in a mood.
Good evening, youngsters. I don't know what the quote is.
He doesn't even get it.
Hello,
He doesn't even get it right.
Like, no, that's the
Good
irony.
evening, youngsters.
Good morrow. Anyway, Diego Ramos says there is one. Do you want me to send it? It's non-spoiler. No, that's the whole point.
Thank you.
No, thanks.
Don't want that in my
I appreciate
head.
you say that, but no, thank you.
Politely
thank
decline,
you.
but thank you.
You're the best around. Anyway.
I like this one. Diego Ramos wants to know, what would you guys like to see in the finale? Not what we think is going to happen, but what do we want to see?
I know that's
like
a really
this
good
question.
question. I love that question.
I don't like it at all. It's terrible.
You're
This
just
is
so
why you're
disagreeable.
wrong, Dave.
Here's why you're wrong.
I want to see Padre succeed with all of our favorite characters still there. I want to see June, Sherry, and Dwight. But first, they have to change the name from Padre, because if I hear that word one more flipping time, I'm going to do a Charlie. Because Padre, I've been hearing that for 2 years. I want Madison to die, straight up. Like, they can do that right at the beginning of the next episode. Just take her out, boom. Matter of fact, if that happens, I'll be good.
It might.
Madison dies, June lives, I'm good.
Do you guys want to answer this question before I go off on Diego Ramos?
Well,
What
Sharon
did
took my
Diego
number
do
one
to you?
answer. I also definitely want to see Madison die.
Actually, I don't blame Diego.
For real this
Diego
time.
Ramos.
Before that, I want to find out how she got out of the diamond. That's what I would like to see. Then immediately after, she can die.
As we were promised, by the way.
On-screen death, please.
Oh, no, that would be great. Off-screen death
Nope.
for Madison?
On-screen death for Madison,
See,
please.
Bridge is even laughing at that.
Alicia's my girl, but right now I'm really on the fence.
Hoping she doesn't show up?
Well, I don't think ADC's coming back. We're not going to see her on screen. I've already made peace with that. It's not going to happen. Mostly because I think if she were, we would have already been spoiled. Just going to say that. I would like some sort of confirmation one way or another. I feel like everything we've heard about her has been very vague. Troy's like, oh yeah, I killed her. But I don't know if I believe him.
I'm still there too. I'm with you.
And then the cosplayers were like, oh, before Troy killed her. But like nobody said that they saw it happen. And if they
Right,
did
because
see
she kept
it,
moving on, right?
Yeah.
You were
Right.
saying that. But they do know that Troy killed her.
well, they think
For
that
some
he
reason.
did. And
Right.
if they saw it happen, I don't think they're gonna like just let him run off with her arm. I feel like they would have like hung on to that. But I would like a solid answer as to what
Off
happened.
screen?
Nope. On screen, please and thank you. I would like a solid answer.
You want
as
them
to what
to
happened with
show,
Alicia.
not tell.
Yes.
I'd like
Always,
them to
yeah.
strictly tell. Just a black screen and a monologue.
Just like
just
floating
text going
letters,
across-
like Star
It's
Wars.
the Star Wars crawl.
Which it's like, hey, how can we troll them even worse? Let's do that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that would
No,
still be better than this episode.
And you know what? By the way, Rachel, to your point, because they brought it into the ether with Troy saying, "Oh, I killed your daughter," and then I want to go after him, and everybody wants to get their body back and put in. That is probably you're on it. I would like to see that on screen. I'd like to have that because it's brought up now. You got to resolve that now. That's fine with me. So sorry, Diego Ramos. That's probably what I'm going to go with too.
Well, and I think by Troy saying that to Madison is another form of revenge. Of course he's going to say that.
Yeah.
But did he?
Oh,
Psychological
irony.
revenge.
Exactly.
And see, that's the thing. It's exactly what Daniel and Madison want to do to him. It's like, okay, you do this, I'm going to do this. Anyway, whatever.
Anyway.
Well, I talked about it last episode and I reiterated it here, but Diego wasn't here for that, so I'm just going to repeat myself.
But after this episode, is that still what you want?
For
I
Strand
think
to
I know
have
what you're gonna say.
redemption?
For Madison.
You know, I still do. I stand by that statement.
I'm
Can
impressed.
she be redeemed in death?
Maybe. Honestly, maybe. I want redemption for Strand, especially after this whole rigmarole of like doing this, we're rehashing stuff.
Do you feel like he got some of that in this episode?
Yeah, you
Being
know why?
sort of mostly right?
Because Lucy's people died. So congratulations, guys. You didn't listen to him and this is what happened. I hate it for you because that's really sad. I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I hate that sweet old man that Frank was so devastated about passed. That was horrible.
Yeah.
I was really upset about that. But part of me was like, this is exactly what he was telling you. It's what Daniel was telling you too. If any of you had bothered to listen to him, he was saying he will stop at nothing. He's coming at you anyway. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to go to take care of this Tracy situation because it doesn't matter anyway. Why don't you guys get ready? Because he's coming to attack. And then they're still surprised when he does come and attack. And they're like, oh, well, he doesn't have as many people
crazy.
as we do. So it'll be fine. No, he doesn't care. It's scorched earth.
Right.
So he did get, there's a little bit there. But I would like redemption for Strand because I've wanted that. I also wanted a more touching reunion between him and Madison. We didn't receive that. So I don't know what we're going to get, but those are the things that I want to happen. I would like Madison to redeem herself a little bit. I've said it once. I'll say it again. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I don't hate her, but she makes it very hard to like her because she self-sabotages everything constantly. And it's hard to watch a character like that.
I don't disagree. I like Madison. And there were things about her, the reasons why she originally did the things that she did was because of her kids. And I like that we're acknowledging in this episode that without them, who does she become? And I don't like that person, but I love watching it.
She becomes that woman that she was in Alabama or whatever who killed her daddy.
She hasn't had her kids for the past almost decade. She steals kids. That's who she becomes.
But she was living thinking she was protecting them. Now that she knows for sure that they're gone, there is absolutely nothing left for her. And again, I think that she becomes the person she was before, which what little we've been given about that isn't a good person.
Bridget, you teed me up so perfectly.
I'm not saying that she wasn't warranted. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a domestic abuse survivor. Like, hell yeah. But it still doesn't, it doesn't make you right.
What you do is you find something else to live for and move on. There are so many children out there that need a mother, or not that I would want her to have any of them. But anyway, there's so many kids out there that need families and mothers, especially now in the apocalypse. Go out and find someone who needs you instead of chasing after someone dead.
I agree. And that's why I keep saying now that Nick is finally dead, like finally dead. I didn't mean that. Now that Nick is dead, I said that. I was like, whoa, no.
No, he's finally in the ground in the right way.
Now that Nick is dead and she knows it, she's finally willing to pay attention to Alicia. And I know that I'm saying that and like maybe you guys are thinking like I'm not joking. She was so unfair in her relationship with Alicia, I think.
Unbalanced.
It was so unbalanced. Yeah. And Alicia vocalized it in the very first season. And so seeing that come full circle, but this is like depressing to me that she's finally willing to pay attention to her daughter and her daughter's gone. You had every opportunity. She told you that
She said it in this episode.
Season 1 and in season 3, I think.
Well, she said it in this episode too, near the end of this episode. As she's peeling back the curtain of hair, she's saying, I'm sorry, I could have come to you anytime and really I screwed it up. Yeah. And you feel her frustration too. So you teed me up perfectly, Bridget, because when it came time for Madison to say, well, she knows about Padre. We know, what we have to do. And then Daniel says that line. I instantly thought of cyclical drama because all of a sudden I wanted to shift the focus, like tilt the tripod sort of and look at the situation from a different light. And I instantly thought of what you said just now, her having to kill her father figure, her stepdad, right? It was her stepdad?
I believe it was her actual dad.
Oh, okay. Her actual dad. Because what was the whole theme of Padre to begin with? Padre knows best. These parents can't give these kids a better life for whatever reason, whatever, emotionally, not being able to give them medicine, food, whatever, scarcity, bomb drops, whatever it is. And they're saying, you know what? We have all these facilities. Let's raise these children to be ready for this thing. We know best. There's some really interesting interplay between that and the cyclical drama of what Madison does without her kids. And Troy being a father. And how can she even possibly think that Troy has any possibility of changing him being a father to a kid? She doesn't trust fathers, is what I'm saying, is that there's something compelling about that as well.
That's fair. That's her baggage, right?
Exactly. Some of that does, I think, play into that.
I mean, she got over it with Travis, though, didn't she? Travis was the dad.
That's pre-apocalypse. That's like her in a normal world trying to get over her stuff.
She did marry Nick and Alicia's dad also before that.
Yeah, exactly. So why this is interesting is because what is Motley Crue's Livewire about?
Electricity.
Yeah, messing things up.
It is a stepson wailing on his stepdad for all the abuse. Every bit of crap Nikki Sixx himself took. And what is she doing out there? She's just blowing off some steam. She's just getting, just like Nikki Sixx is in the song. All this drama between fathers and sons and padres and all that stuff because of all the abuse. I just think there's an interesting thing here going on. Cyclical drama. Her not even, I have nobody left to disappoint. In the end, I got my
Dave, are you referring to the cyclical melodrama thing that I brought up?
Cyclical melodrama. That's what it was.
Okay. The bad therapist. Yeah.
But it's like backsliding. Yeah, the bad therapist. But it's a real thing, right? If you don't have the tools, you can't get out of it. It's like Daniel and his conditioning and going back to that when it comes to wanting to kill Tracy as well. There's just something about backsliding into your cyclical melodrama that I actually kind of liked. Okay. AJ says, take a shot every time Dave says I like this episode.
You'd be drunk.
Diego says, to your point, Charity, without the Troy scenes this season is unwatchable. Or at least the last half when we see him.
I did love
Mitchell
that
says,
comment.
I really enjoyed the episode. It was just super messy. Somebody else liked this episode but me? Mitchell, we'll talk afterwards. You'll be my buddy. I don't care that you guys don't like it.
Immediately after that, Carranza said messy, but it did have moments. I need more than moments, though.
I'm going to call David Carranza Skidmark. Meow.
Messy with moments is not enough when you only have 3 episodes left.
Yeah, it does put us on edge, doesn't it, though?
G. Wilson.
It's just like The Walking Dead.
G. Wilson said, Charlie and fake Walker Alicia. Maybe we're born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
You have to sing it, Bridget. Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline. I can't.
Thank you.
I can't.
Oh, wait. So I actually wanted to go to what Diego said earlier about what do I want out of the rest of the season? Aside from Alicia, what Rachel brilliantly said. I want to be surprised. That's what I want. And this episode
This is Dave's
had
not
some surprising
way of saying, don't send me spoilers. I want to be surprised.
No, man. Listen, I gave my fake outrage to Diego earlier. God, I'm not that mean. I'm not really that mean at all. In fact, I like this episode. You meanies, but
Dave's not mean at all.
Dave just said he liked the episode. I got to take a shot.
Wait, that came out really sarcastic. I actually meant that. Dave's really not mean.
Oh, I was like, that seemed like an appropriate response.
I just started like shrinking.
No,
I'm
no,
already
I
5'2".
really meant
I've
it.
just turned 4'6".
No. I actually meant it. No.
Oh,
Dave,
okay. Because
Dave
you're referring
is
to
not mean at all.
you're referring to some private chats we had in our Discord at one point. I think it was like you could be meaner, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
a lot
Those
of
words have
things.
come out of
He
my
could
mouth.
be. Yeah.
And a lot of people. I'm remembering exactly because of the way you said it, actually. That's why I remembered it. Okay, anyway. Dave, you're too nice to this person who's a jerk. Anyway.
Sure.
No, going back to your thing, I just want to be surprised. And part of this episode was a surprise. I liked the dialogue between June and Victor. I liked that it was messy, and I liked that they didn't forgive him because it would be the same rehashing. Oh, people deserve second chances. The impossible is possible. Well, listen, I'm even sick of that at some point. I don't want to see these plot points coming. And look, I don't like deaths for death's sake, but if somebody dies, I want it to be shocking. I don't want it to be chaotic. It doesn't have to mean something.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be ruined either. So if you guys could refrain from posting about it, if people don't watch it immediately.
Yeah. That's me. I'm super behind in life.
You're too busy for social media, Rachel. So you're kind of lucky in that respect.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, you are got ruined by social
Seriously
media.
thinking about staying
Blessed
up
one.
Sunday night and watching it live. I can't watch it on Instagram, but like having myself on Instagram while I watch it.
You're saying 9 p.m. on Sunday or
No,
3 a.m.?
3 a.m.
Oh, I thought you meant 9 p.m. And I was
Why?
like, oh, I'll watch it with you.
I can't wait
Never
that
mind.
long.
I
About-
can't watch
how
all
about
of that at
9
3
a.m.?
a.m. Maybe.
I have church.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll do a we react or something.
I had just one more thing about the episode that I wanted to bring up.
Is it a good thing?
She waited
Keep going.
too
It
long.
doesn't
It's
matter.
not. She waited too long.
More sound effects.
So I just want to point out.
Boing.
Oh, okay. Maybe a couple of things. So I don't know how to describe the feeling when Strand points out that Tracy's wearing the St. Christopher medallion that apparently there was only one in production of. And so this had to be the one
Alicia.
that he gave Alicia. Had to be it because only one of those was produced on the planet Earth.
I did notice that. Yeah.
Also,
To your point.
even if it was Alicia's, that's telling us that Troy did kill Alicia. He took the necklace and her arm and gave it to his daughter like some sort of serial killer gives his children trophies.
Checks out.
Well, there's a shortage of toys in the apocalypse. They got to give her something to play with.
Literally, people used to make do with a hoop and a stick, but I guess this necklace.
I mean, I used to kick pine cones in the forest, so
Plenty of those around now.
Yeah,
I suppose.
definitely.
Yeah.
You could make a corn husk doll. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do.
You can make wood fingers.
Dwight.
Yeah.
But no, to your point, though, it doesn't have to be Alicia or related to Alicia, I suppose.
Right.
Diego says earlier, though, in one trailer, there's a truck.
It's a spoiler.
Don't read it.
Is there?
Yes, it's a spoiler. I
think
read
he's,
it.
I
It's
thought he
something
was
from the
joking.
trailer.
Isn't he?
I
He's
don't know,
joking.
is he?
I thought it was a
he was
joke.
Yeah, he's joking.
I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
Diego's saying in one trailer there's a truck with Padre, but they put a cross on the P and replaced it with M. So
I
instead
read
of
it and I
Padre,
was like, God, that's a spoiler, Diego. We just said we didn't want spoilers. And then I was like,
I
he
know.
must be joking because that's ridiculous.
think
this
it
is in
was
response to Sharon. He's saying if I hear Padre one more time, he's saying Madre. So
I'm down with
that's
that.
what he's saying.
Watch, it's real.
He's helping you
It's
out, Sharon.
real,
He's
and
like,
I'm gonna
oh,
be
here's.
I hate
See?
everyone.
I told you. I'm going to say, I told you it was real. Fools.
Listen,
In all seriousness, they should call it Eden 2.
I would like that. I think. I'm not sure. Anyway. AJ says it just cuts to a tin can and you think it's Nick's ashes, but it's Madison's, and then it shows this. It's sitting next to Nick's LMAO. At the end.
No, I still need to see her die on screen.
Madison's going to die, and they're going to rename it like Madisonville or some crap like that, dude.
Or Clarkston or Clarksville.
Take the last.
I'd be fine
train
with
to
Clarkston
Clarksville.
or Clark. Something with
Clarkville
Clark
or
related, I'd be fine
Clarkvale.
with that.
Diego says he was joking.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diego.
God.
Okay, good.
You got me.
Don't tell
You
us
got
spoilers.
me.
Immediately tells
Yeah.
us a spoiler.
You know, Mitchell asks an interesting question. I think this is worth just shooting from the hip about. Who do the four of you think will be on the title cards for the last two episodes?
Strand and Madison.
Oh,
Really
that's
in
a
that
good
order?
guess. That's a really good guess.
Yep.
Because he was
probably.
in Anton.
Maybe it'll be Tracy and Madison.
Maybe it's Alicia and
It's
don't know. I
Tobias.
don't know.
It's Tobias on both.
Tobias. Yes.
Farts.
It's the beer
Oh,
bottle
you guys.
balloon and Swatty.
That's another thing.
Oh,
wanna
I do
see
wanna
is
see
Tobias.
Tobias. What is another
Seriously. I am
For
dead
real?
serious.
I'm being serious.
Dead
I'm being serious.
serious. Yes.
Rachel and I are
I
on
want to
board.
see
We're team
Tobias.
Tobias.
I've never.
Yes.
Here's the deal. Okay, we're gonna make a bet.
Okay.
Oh,
This is
I'm
for real.
totally
I'll totally
wrong.
do this. I'll totally do this. No, but this is why I'm gonna do
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Because it'll be wrong.
Okay.
I will sit out the entire finale discussion if Tobias shows up, or even is even mentioned.
I shake your
In those
hand virtually,
episodes.
sir. I take this bet.
What happens when we lose?
One of
though?
us can be like in the recording.
Nothing,
One of us
it's
can just go
fine.
like
Okay.
Tobias, like inserted in the
Like they'll insert separate words
Tobias.
and make Tobias.
I hope they introduce a totally unrelated character, and his name is Tobias.
If they say no, you're too biased, you'll be like that
Yes,
counts. That
that
counts. And I will not appear in the episode, and you guys will have the
What if
reins.
he's going by Toby now?
Oh, that totally doesn't count, actually. So it has to be Tobias or Tobias or as close. But if he's called Toby, that will not.
But if
be
we
enough.
see him and he's still going by
If we see him,
Toby,
that's
that
it.
counts.
I'm not in those episodes. Not in that episode discussion. I'll give you my notes or my takes.
All you video
Yes.
photoshoppers out there, get on it.
Yeah.
Diego is my kind of people. Season 9 will have Tobias as the main character. I love it.
He'll be in the title card and he'll be the focus.
Season 9 will have Tobias as the main character.
That's the next spin-off, The Walking Dead. Book
Actually,
of
he's the only
Tobias.
character.
The book
Oh,
of
I'd watch that.
Tobias. Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Walking Dead
here for that.
Tobias.
I would. Wouldn't you love
No,
like a little
Walking
3-part
Dead, the
miniseries
book
about
of
what
Tobias.
Tobias is up to? His
God.
journey.
I would.
from where
If they
we
made
met
that
him.
webisodes,
I would
I'd watch
love
the hell out of that.
Where
I would
in
too.
the
Here's what I'm
world
gonna do.
is
Yes.
Tobias?
Yes. I'm trying
I
so
wanna
hard to make
solve
that
that
fit in my
puzzle.
head. It's just.
G. Wilson
Where
says,
in
I
the
feel
world
like something's
is
going to happen to either Frank or
Tobias?
Klaus. And if that's the case, then I'm going to be sad because I like them with Strand.
Yeah, I like him
broke me.
too. And
You
if,
broke me.
I feel like that wouldn't be a dramatic enough of a death. They're gonna kill somebody major off. It wouldn't be one of them.
That's not
They can
major.
kill
yeah,
off
you're right.
Klaus. I'm okay with that, but they better not touch a hair on Frank's head. That's all I'm saying.
If they
I
do
don't
kill
like
him,
that.
just
That's
don't
not
mess
a
up
good-
the face.
Should you
Just
say
don't-
the
I don't-
sun
don't mess
could
up
die
face.
as long as hot
Yeah,
dad lives?
leave
Yes.
that sexy man
I don't like
alone.
that at all. I don't know. Oh. Ugh.
Strand needs to feel the pain of losing a child.
By the way, Thomas leaves in protest because I'm defending this episode. And I think
He's
that's
still
But he's
here.
that's
still here.
really dumb.
He's still here.
That's really dumb. No, I'm going to still say it's dumb.
G.
Yes,
Wilson
Thomas,
said,
fear the walking Tobias.
The Walking Dead, the Tobias who lives.
More people are watching that because Thomas did that. Anyway, Tobias is watching this, right?
Yes.
The actor who plays Tobias?
The Walking Dead Tobias Dixon.
Okay. Should we just be done? Because we've said Tobias like
We're going
100
off
times
the
last
rails.
minute.
No, but I didn't get to say I love this episode again. So.
Oh,
Bye.
I
I'm
already
gotta
done.
take a
done.
shot.
That's it.
Okay, so Diego
done.
says Madison hates fathers so much.
Come off.
Oh, you know what? I skipped over a really good comment. Diego says Alicia reunion, kill Sherry and have Dwight go Dead City, perfect ending. Wait, and he says don't kill Troy. What do you think about that last part at the very least?
Sure. Viva la
I'm
Troy.
fine with that. Yeah. At this point, I'm Team Troy.
There's a lot of spite.
He's easy on the eyes, so it's fine.
So you have a Frank too. Anyway,
Excuse me. I was the
I have a
original
contact
Frank
he
lover.
can borrow, though.
Troy is pretty hot. Like
I'm a
not
Frank
gonna lie.
fighter.
Even with that funky eye, it's the eye that does it.
Did I just break you, Bridget? It's a new band called the Frank Fighters.
It was so stupid. I'm a Frank lover. I'm a Frank fighter.
What?
One more thing.
Happening?
It's just all the Foo Fighter songs, but in German.
Oh my god.
And better looking objectively than the Foo Fighters.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, we're not the podcast you want. It's the podcast you deserve. Just saying that, man. Wow. Yes, we're the Frank Fighters. Walking Dead. By the way, Walking Dead Eternal just woke up with that joke. He's just like, I haven't seen him for so long. And then Frank Fighters, when he woke up on.
I just thought of a meme I gotta make. Let me write it down.
Because of that?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Ah, shit.
Listen, there's so much that I could bring up, but to be frank with you, I really liked this about Luciana. She did not want to be involved with Padre's mess. She didn't want anything to do with that. And I thought there was something special about that. That like not everybody had to care about everybody and that she
knows
wanted to
what's
just
up.
care about her own. Yeah. I dug that.
She was tired of hearing about Padre too. She was like, "Oh my
Mhm.
god, if I have to hear them one more time."
Mhm.
And yet the Madison virus infected her too because
Yep. Here
basically
comes
all the people
Madison.
she was trying to protect are basically
Here
dead.
comes Madison rolling up, tearing everything down. Are you sure she's not a Grimes?
Here comes
Here
Madison.
comes Madison. Here comes Madison. High five. That was great. Up down Clarksville Lane.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
That's it. The show is over.
that's it.
This
That's
interview
it.
is over.
Madison got run over by a reindeer. No,
You wish.
Madison got run over by an MRAP. Oh yes,
Yes.
You know what? You should be writing this down, Rachel. These are great ideas.
Oh no, I got a list.
Are you checking it twice?
No.
I'm ashamed.
It's
I'm
Madison,
ashamed.
so I'm only checking it once, and then it's going to get screwed up in the end anyway.
Yeah. Diego says Luciana didn't care about Troy in the season. Every time he's mentioned, she still doesn't care, bro. I'm like, yeah, I love
Yep.
that. I love that for her.
She's like, I'm doing the
Oh, about
thing.
Nick.
Leave me out.
Oh, he meant Nick, by the way, not Troy.
Oh, I think she's moved on.
Yeah, it's painful, but
Yeah.
she knows what Troy's trying to do.
I laughed so
Or
hard.
and she
I
knows what
pulled a
Madison's
muscle.
trying to do.
Oh no.
I'm not okay.
Nick has been gone for many, many, many years.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's not to say the pain goes away, but
Well, no, it's something you carry with you, but you move on. And she's doing something
Yeah.
good with her life.
and maybe one of the trucker dudes is her man too. I mean, we don't know, but maybe she has somebody else after all
Well,
this time too.
if that's the case, he's probably dead now.
Right. And he's killed off screen too.
Yeah, died off screen.
AJ says the season ends with Strand taking over Padre and having a theater presentation of the Rocky Horror Picture Show featuring Frank and Furter. I feel like he reached a little, but I respect it.
I like it.
You just messed up my meme idea because I was gonna Photoshop Frank's head on Frankenfurter's body.
You better put makeup on that bitch.
Will someone please Photoshop Frank's head onto all members of the Foo Fighters?
All of them.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that's what Sharondy was going to do.
Well, you need to have one panel be the Frank lovers and the other one the Frank fighters.
Stop.
Well, and the Frank lovers would be us, our faces, and then the Frank fighters would be just Frank with the faces of all the band of the Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters.
David is starting to shut down. He needs to go plug in and recharge.
G. Wilson says Luciana's people from season 2 got caught up with Troy's people, and she got shot by them too. So it makes sense as to why she reacts to Madison like that.
You guys, stop commenting. Stop commenting.
He's just gonna
Walking
keep
Dead Eternal says,
reading them.
I don't know who Frank is.
He'll read
Frank
He'll
is
read
Frank.
it until the end
Frank.
of time.
Frank.
It's
Frank.
Frank.
Frank is
It's Frank.
Strand's husband.
But it's
It's Frank.
But
It's
yeah,
Frank.
Frank.
Klaus.
No, stop commenting, you guys.
Thomas says good night, everyone.
Good night.
Klaus is going to save everybody, and then he's gonna be sainted. So he's gonna be Santa Claus.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
We're
gonna
gonna
be
call him Santa Claus.
And he's gonna go
Santa
around
Claus.
and give coal to everybody.
Yeah.
'Cause
So with
they're
that,
all
everybody,
bad.
if you like what you heard, except for the Tobias part,
Nope.
head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. 5 stars in an eggplant is all we need to know that you love us, but tell us what you liked. Tell us what you didn't like. Tell us what we might have missed, because there's a lot.
probably
For
a
those
lot.
of you who actually like this episode, like Mitchell, I'm counting on you. Remember to tell us after every episode. And if you really like what we're doing, we don't always go live, and sometimes we will pre-record episodes. Well, consider either following us for free on Ko-fi or Patreon. That's ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead. You don't have to buy us a coffee to get Dave's notes, which you will get after this live stream is through. And you don't have to join a membership tier for as little as $1 a month, which includes the unedited episode recordings, usually, except for this one because it's live, or a whole host of other baseline perks, especially in the Ko-fi shop, which you can get a ton of things like ringtones and wallpapers and stuff like that. But you could tip us on Scream also, and the comment will be on the video forever. I should have said that at the top, but I didn't. It's fine. It's cool.
Team
I'm not mad
Tobias.
about it.
Yes.
Okay, with your stuff and your stupid Tobias.
I love you
But
guys.
when
Thank
you
you
do-
so much for being here
Love you
and
guys.
being
You-
part
love
of
you
this.
guys. Truly.
You're amazing.
You can. I'm still doing the outro.
don't care.
thing.
Well, I had to say
don't care
something
anymore.
or it would never end.
But then they won't join the Ko-fis and the Patreons.
They will. They already are. All of them. I'm sure. I don't know. I don't.
I've never
look
been
at those
interrupted while
things.
doing the outro. It's really
I messed up the flow.
So many.
Oh no, cannot compute.
It's my.
Beep,
I'm
boop,
broken.
Beep boop bop boop beep.
So at the end of these episodes, if you join the Whispers and Survivors tiers, Survivors tier being the ability to join us in these episode breakdowns with us on screen and camera and mic, you get shout outs at the end of these episodes, starting with the Survivors tier members, of whom are at RealRyanGM on X, or formerly Twitter, at ElizaJones71 on Instagram, or at JonesAJ6 on X/Twitter. And of course, Fanart Lindy, who you can reach at ko-fi.com/fanartlindy. And on to our Whispers tier members, we've got at Judith.Morna on Instagram, Aiden Atkin, who you can reach at ko-fi.com/AidenAtkin, at Tyler Philip Cox on both Instagram and X/Twitter, Sandy.D.Morrison, at Lois.Martin.54, and at Kim Rowley, the number 1 on Facebook. So yeah, I remember her thing. I looked it up because I care about Kim Rowley and she deserves the proper shout out. And of course, on here in the chat, at I Found Them Rick G on X/Twitter. That's Mitchell. Thank you for joining us for this very long episode that's going to take a very long time to edit. Didn't really think this through, did I? And I appreciate you guys for being here. And by the way, the numbers keep going up. People are tuning in now to watch the end of this episode. So again, remember to rate us at ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and consider joining or just following for free on Ko-fi or Patreon, because you'll get the recording schedules, you'll be aware of what's going on, and you'll be in the know for the cool things that we have to come. Hopefully, Fear is a cool one of those cool things. I sincerely hope, and I hope you guys too, let's be more optimistic. Let's hope that all of this was for, I mean, we got Sanctuary. I thought Iron Tiger was good. I think there were more good episodes in this back half than there were bad. Do you guys agree with that?
Don't ask that question.
Well, not, well, Well, maybe not everybody else thinks the way you do.
Notice the silence.
Everybody else is being very quiet for some reason. Why?
I checked out.
We're getting ready to sign off.
You just asked us to be more positive, and then you asked us that question, so I'm being quiet.
Wow. Really? Okay.
I'm stuck on the fact that you said our numbers were going up once we started laughing and having more fun.
Take that, Blue Cat 49.
Take that,
Whatever.
Dave, the editor.
Blue Cat 57.
42.
Whatever.
You're somewhere in the middle.
Like the theme of this episode. The truth lies somewhere in between. And with that, everybody, we'll see you later. I've been your host, David Cameo, and I was joined by the lovely and beautiful Mr. at Cosmom09 Rachel Burt, Sharon D, aka Blazy Gardner, and Bridget, ko-fi.com/punkybrewster. That's PUNKYBRUISETR. We'll see you guys next week for probably an even longer episode. Yay. Covering the last 2 episodes. Yeah.
I'll make sure I get a 5-hour energy or something before I come home.
Do they make 10-hour?
Yeah.
Because that's how long we're going, everybody. Woo!
It's the Iron Tiger. It's the worst episode of my life.
It's the thrill of the frunk.